caught him off guard.
Has anybody on the channel we live?
Not yet, nearly. Just waiting for it to come up into YouTube.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Is the number for today still 3?
Yeah, 3.
We are live.
33.
Or we think we're live. Yes, Aaron, can you draw a circle with the pi of 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
What is pi?
Apple pie.
Yeah, apple pie's okay.
Side of vanilla ice cream.
I can rub a pie on a circle all day long.
Why would you want to rub a pie on a circle?
Terry asked me. So, if you haven't been to an Asian airport or even European, the American airports suck so bad. They're outdated. They're old. They are the originals. Yes, they are the ones that preceded every other airport. But these days, dude, are LAX, DFW, Kennedy. I mean, SeaTac. They're just getting old and outdated. Blue, I know the runways are still good. That's great, but the facility itself is just so bad compared to the rest of the world. Because they're building theirs, and they're building badass shit. And it's fucking awesome to land in a foreign country. That's all I'm saying. Blue.
I got a recommendation from True Blue. That's it.
What?
144.
I haven't
Oh, no, don't play Owen Benjamin.
True
Yeah,
Blue's
don't
True.
play Owen Wingerman.
No, I'm not playing it. I'm just looking.
Yeah.
Well, I thought Blue, Big Blue. What's that?
No, this is another person.
Yeah, in this Zoom meeting, it is not Blue. It is Numpty Fuck Knuckle. Get it right.
Don't fucking tell me what the fuck to do. Okay.
I will tell you to take him by the name he is represented by in this chat.
What's written there in black and white?
What the fuck is his name?
Well, like your
Numpty
name's
Fuck Knuckle.
face1111 at Gmail. Like, what a name's that?
Oh yeah. You have an email. Good. That's great.
Well, you can redo it yourself, but I'll give you a name.
Hey, demonic.
No. I love the name Face instead
Yes,
of Aaron.
Mr. Swinging Balls.
Okay.
You're
get rid
the
of the rest
lucky
of it.
one. You're sitting under Gleam's swinging balls.
You gonna change your name, or do you want me to do it for you?
Yeah, my name since I've been in high school, my nickname has always been Face.
Okay, I'll just get rid of the rest of it then.
Just call me Face.
Face.
You mean like the A-Team face?
I was given that name for a reason, right? I didn't make it up myself. I was given that name. And yes, I graduated in 1995, so 1988. Yeah, it might make sense, right?
Well, you went to university, college, or whatever.
3 years at technical school, but I didn't graduate. No, I skipped school.
Your school system's a lot different to ours. That's why it's hard to understand.
He went to IGA University.
Well, Independent Grocers Association.
Yeah, that's IGA over
Studied groceries.
It could have been JM Truth University.
Oh, you mean the paper mill?
Why do you have to university to be educated? Why-
Oh no,
why is
we're not saying you have to go to university to be educated. It's just when people
to have knowledge or wisdom or life skills or
yeah, but when they claim to have knowledge about things that they are not educated in or don't actually have life experience in, then you
such as
question it. Yeah, subject matter. Yeah.
such as
Such as someone who claims to be smarter than Einstein.
who? Okay, so who's saying that? No, you're strawman.
But
You
he
should,
has
if
no.
somebody doesn't have university education, you're not claiming that they're not being smarter than you or somebody.
All right, I'll put it to you like this: when does knowing how to edit a video classify you as a scientist?
No,
Yeah,
Come on.
exactly. No.
no, no. Your little
To be
claim
fair,
There's
there's nothing wrong with self-education, but the thing is, if you've got a degree in something, it demonstrates that you've met a certain standard. Without that, who knows? It's on. You know,
I asked Demonic for an example, and he pinpointed me to a YouTube video. Right?
No. What? Okay, you go to university and learn how to edit video. Does that make you a scientist?
We're not talking about that.
This
We're
is
not
the
talking about
example.
editing videos.
Yeah, this is the claim of the person who got his
No.
education in film editing.
Okay.
Says he is a scientist, a journalist,
Mhm.
and is smarter than Einstein.
He's also a master of pamphlet making.
Okay. So the videos that I see from the ISS, they are not also video editors, video scientists, and ground-based Rileys. They're not.
Do you see the people that deliver you the video from NASA claim to be scientists?
I'm asking you if they're video editors. Are they or are they not?
They would not be classified as scientists, the people that edit the videos together
I
for
never
NASA.
called them scientists. I asked you if they're video editors.
Oh, do
I
you
don't
think
know,
the
ask
people
them.
on the ISS are the ones that edit the videos?
I don't think there's an ISS. What do you think?
Well, I know there's an ISS. I've seen the damn thing go across the sky.
So you know there's people on there, right?
Well, what would be the point of having a space station if there was no one to man the space station?
Why do you keep asking me questions when I ask you a question? So
Because
you
I'm
think,
using your logical reasoning against you.
come
Do you
on,
understand? Okay, you give me a question, and then I need to get more information from you.
Sure, clarification. I understand. Every time I do that, I get fucking banned from, Globe Channel.
I haven't heard you being banned.
I got banned
Oh, well.
from Sean's and Jose.
Well, it is a little frustrating.
Well, I'm not worried about it because we have other stuff to do. But go ahead, Demonic. Where were we? You were asking questions, right, Demonic?
Well, why'd you just get to that? Mandelbrot seems to be fixated with Channel X.
Oh, where?
Okay. We can move on to whatever.
Yeah.
Does he
Oh, yeah,
need
there
to?
you go.
Does he need to come in here and have a one-on-one with your ex?
I made a mistake. I actually unblocked him because he was just bizarre behavior.
Does anybody
No, I don't.
remember?
I don't think I'm interested in talking to him.
Does anyone remember a little while back there was a court case where a flat earther put out a challenge and the guy claimed he met the challenge and the guy didn't pay out, so he took him to court? Does anyone remember that?
Yeah, that's old news. Don't worry about that. There's no court that's going to figure out flat Earth, sphere Earth.
Honestly,
well, no, that wasn't what it was about. It was about whether or not he should have been paid out. He claims he met the challenge.
Yeah, it was a contract case. Definitely, it was a contract case versus.
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
well,
valid.
it ain't over yet. It turns out that this was a small claims court, and it turns out that the judgment was made by a clerk and not a qualified judge. The guy's since gone to an appeals court and he's had it overturned, so they're going to retry it all from scratch again on the 12th of December.
Contract cases always go to mitigation, basically. You know, they always go to mitigation.
Well, it wasn't really that involved. It was a small claims court. They don't really go into much depth in those things. Typically, in a small claim court, you don't even go with a lawyer. You just
like
sit
a
there
murder
and
court.
present your side. Each person presents their side, and the judge decides.
The standard.
Apparently, it was a clerk. It wasn't even a judge.
Yeah,
so it's been overturned, and it's going to be tried again in December.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. It was just a contract case. It goes to mitigation. Doesn't matter.
It was a small claim, is what it was.
Doesn't go to appeal or nothing. It's just mitigation. That's all it is. It's contract.
It was a small claim.
It's not small claims. It's just
It
mitigation.
was a small claims court.
It's a paperwork. It's a paperwork issue.
A small claims court is what it was.
It's a contract. That's it. That's all it is.
Anyway, if you want to know more about it, you go to Aaron Ra's channel. It was on there the other day. The guy involved talks about it, so you can find out there.
Who is this? What's your name?
I can't remember the guy's name. Bill something or other.
What's your name?
Huey.
Huey, are you globe Earth, flat Earth, middle? What are you?
I'm a non-flat earther.
Okay, so yeah, go keep searching this court case, and you'll find out.
The guy was on with Aaron Ra yesterday or the day before. It's all there. If you want to go and listen to it from the horse's mouth.
Aaron Ra? Who cares? Who the fuck is Aaron Ra?
Well, you said to check it out, and I told you I have.
I didn't tell you to check it out.
What did you say?
I said stop worrying about it. It's contract mitigation. It's litigation. It's mediation.
Do you know what litigation means?
Like 4 parties show up to review the paperwork, and they all sit at the same fucking table. It's not in the courtroom. It's mitigation. It's mediation. That's all it is. It's
it was a small claim. It was a small claim court.
They just want to, 2 contract lawyers show up. Yes, my contract was written correctly. That's it. It's contract law. No big deal. I'm not worried about it.
Fair enough. I'm just
Nobody's
pointing
worried.
out that it ain't over yet. That ruling was overturned. It's going to be tried again. That's the only point I was making.
Nobody's worried about it. It doesn't. It's not a ruling. It's a mediation ruling. It's a mediation thing based on paperwork. That's it. It has
Anyway,
nothing
it's
to
been
do with
overturned, and it's
real
going to go
life.
again in December 12th. If anyone's interested.
know. I didn't want to say it.
I don't know why you've been so pugnacious. I was
Contract
just
law has
making a
nothing
point.
to
That's
do with
all.
like actual life, reality. It's just contract law between two people.
Yeah, okay. I heard you the first time. All right.
Well, then
Fine.
shut the fuck up. What are you doing?
You shut the
Flat-
fuck up.
Here's the thing about that: is flat earthers are waving that around as, look, the globe lost in court,
Right.
Yeah.
which
See,
it didn't.
no. Yeah. There was no win or loss. Because
The
it's
small claim court found in favor of the defendants. That's what happened.
No.
And it was deemed that the defendant didn't have to pay out the money he had offered in the challenge. That's the point. But now that's been overturned in a separate ruling in an appeals court, and it's going to be tried again at a proper court, not a small claims court.
I'm gonna step back quiet. You guys can handle this one.
Anyway, I was just letting folk know that's what's going on in case someone hadn't heard. That's all it was. I don't know why you want to argue about that.
Yeah, and it was all because he wanted it. It was all over the 8 inches per 8 inches per mile proving curvature, but the maths weren't correct, and the guy brought information proving the curvature of the Earth using the other maths, and that's where the issue was.
Oh, so it was a mathematical issue.
Yep, exactly.
Had nothing to do with the shape of the Earth.
No, that's technically true. Yeah, it's just to do with the shape.
Yeah, it's
in
about a
maths.
semantics. Basically, it's a semantic argument that the information you provided was not the same information I provided. Therefore, you're wrong.
Exactly.
Well, the guy wanted him to prove, or the guy put the challenge out that it was 8 inches per mile. That he wanted to see proof that you could get Earth curvature at 8 inches per mile, but when you do the math and everything like that, it doesn't come out to that. So that's what the whole thing is about. The person that answered his challenge brought in the math and showed all of the evidence, and and the fight was over the contract, whether it was valid if he brought in the correct version
No,
or used
contract-
the other or
Sean,
used the other or used the other 8 inches per mile.
Sean, the contract was over money. Who's going to
Yeah.
get paid?
So the litigation would have been over whether or not. It didn't matter whether he proved or not. It was
Payment.
whether he was eligible for the money.
Yeah.
Using the parameters that were given in the contract.
Yeah. This is the same as the one from a couple of years ago where the guy brought two evidences of the round Earth, but the guy moved the goalposts, and he won it in court and didn't have to pay out the 10 grand.
Okay, straw man, I don't know what you're talking about. Nobody knows. You just said it might look like that one time that one guy, moved his garbage can and what? Come on.
Okay, so the guy set up a challenge for someone to prove a globe Earth using two different types of evidence.
I don't want to hear about it. Let's go back on to Terry's topic. Let's talk about some real shit, okay? Not some fucking fake shit.
But we're talking about court cases. We're not
No, we're
actually
not.
arguing. We're not actually arguing about the shape of the Earth.
Mandelbrot is done. You're done. I'm done. Terry gets to fucking regulate his channel.
Oh, well, the funny thing was, for 5 minutes, Terry wasn't here, so he couldn't regulate it, could he?
But now he's
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, we're shills.
This is
Yeah,
a
shit.
self. My channel's
Oh,
a
yeah.
my channel's a self-regulating channel. If I'm not here, somebody else is responsible.
Oh, we're
keeps
like
things
big
going.
oil.
We're like
Please don't talk
government.
about big oil.
We're like
Yeah,
government.
self-regulating.
Self-regulating. We're like police. Self-regulating.
Police aren't self-regulating; they answer to the government.
Yeah, that's true. If they were imagine if they were police were self-regulating. Wow.
They'd be classified as militia.
Yeah.
They'll shoot you in the face and answer later, right?
Yeah.
Or they won't answer at all.
No, they
Seen
wouldn't
that.
even answer. No,
That's right.
they'd just pull you. They'd pull anyone over for any reason.
Oh my, that.
Oh, you
never
got a
happened.
pound of dope in your car. Oh, you got a couple of thousand in your car. Yeah, I'll have that.
Even
No,
if you
can't.
don't, I'll make it up. Yeah, even if you don't, I'll make it up.
No, that's not where I'm going. They'll just
Sounds like the
confiscate.
cartel.
They'll just see some stuff in the car and go, "Oh yeah, I'll have that. Oh, a brand new watch. Yeah, give us that. I'll have that. Oh, you got a new phone. Yeah, I'll have that.
Oh, you have 10,000 in your glove box because you're just, you're wealthy. Yeah. Well, we'll take that.
I'll have that. Thank you. Yeah, off you go then. Here's a ticket for speeding, but even though you weren't.
Yeah, I might have my hand to that. And yeah, here's another speeding ticket. You owe me another fucking $150. Yeah. So we're all on the same page that police are corrupt, right?
No. This is. Terry was saying
This
if the
isn't
police were
Mexico.
self-regulating, this is what would
Yeah,
happen.
yeah. If things were self-regulating like that, yeah.
If. Okay, yeah. If.
Yeah.
This isn't Mexico.
Or
So
South Africa.
the Australian police are they're true and proper. Yeah.
Well, 99.9%, yeah.
Not until they pull you over, right? And rob you and put you on the ground at gunpoint.
No,
Like
When
that.
has that ever happened?
They don't do that here. We don't have
Not
that.
yet.
No,
Yeah,
we don't.
until-
I don't think we've ever had that type of situation over here.
You should watch American videos, man. The
Yeah, I
police
know.
here are
I've seen them. They're ridiculous.
fucking nuts, dude. These guys are going crazy. Which is why we have the Second Amendment. Oh yeah, we're right to bear arms, but the government says we can't bear arms. Like you have to get a permit to actually
You
have.
really,
Oh,
you
you're
really
going
have
down
to.
a rabbit hole there if you're going to bring that one up, because that's something
You-
I've been looking into. That one.
You really, really have to try hard to get a policeman to do that to you here.
Terry, you've been looking into it.
Yeah, the right to bear arms thing.
Yeah. What do you think?
Well,
know.
when was it written? When they wrote that statement?
It's 1782, I believe. When
And how many people actually owned a gun back then?
all of them.
No, not everyone did.
Sure, they did. They just fought the British. They just fought the British off.
Oh, you're saying the army had the guns?
And
No,
The
actually,
soldiers.
the army.
quite a few
was-
farmers had guns as well. Most
Yeah.
most households had a gun.
Was the residents, yeah, the people had the gun.
Because they would have a standing militia for like the Minutemen or something like that in just about every colony.
Because from
but,
about
but that amendment doesn't say you have to have an AR-15 though.
but
There's nothing wrong with an AR-15.
Yeah, but you don't have to have one.
I don't have one.
Yeah, you don't
the
need to
amendment,
have
one.
the
You don't need
amendment
one.
doesn't also say that you can't have one. Right?
So you can have a howitzer or a tank in your front yard, and so that's protection.
Sure, if you want, right?
But that's
Protect
Hey, if you're going to
ridiculous.
pay the
But-
money for if I'm going to pay money for a tank, Yeah, I'm gonna put it in the front yard.
And
But what
yeah,
do
I'm
you-
going to want to launch at least one shell to test that it works.
Just one, maybe two.
Just one at that bad neighbor down the street.
and that leads up to the second question. Why were they writing that statement at the time?
To make sure that the people can defend themselves against a newly formed government. A newly formed government.
I think you've got the misconception wrong. Okay, so the right to bear arms was the fact that everyone had the right to own a gun.
No, that's
No,
not it either.
Hang on.
no.
Hang
No.
on. Let me finish the fucking statement before you jump down me
Well,
throat.
then don't misinterpret. Don't misinterpret the Second Amendment. It
Everyone
says
had the right to own a
to
gun in
bear-
case they needed to form a
the right
militia
to bear
because they
an
disagreed
arm.
with the government.
No. That's the First Amendment. The First Amendment is the right to peacefully protest, right, freedom, religion, press, and peacefully protest against our government. That's the First Amendment.
Yeah,
The second one is the one to protect yourselves of that right, of the first one, right?
So where in the First Amendment does it say you can form a militia to take over the government?
It's the Second Amendment. It says you have the right to peacefully protest your government with.
You know what a militia is, don't you?
Do you know what
That's
amendment is?
The First Amendment is the one. The First Amendment is the
What's
right
wrong with
to peacefully protest. The Second Amendment is the right to bear arms. For the standing militia, which was there to protect the people from any form of oppression.
Yes, Sean.
So exactly what I said. Second
No.
Amendment, the right to bear arms in case you needed to form a militia to take over an oppressive government.
No. It's not in case. Sean did not say that. He did not say in case you need to fucking form militia. Right?
Here's,
It was
you know,
always it's an inherent protection of the people to
inherent.
have inherent protection of the people
Okay.
to have the freedom and security to know that I can protect my child against someone coming at me, whether it's government or you. Doesn't matter. If you're coming at me, I can protect my child.
Okay.
Well,
So
do
that's
you,
not in the Second Amendment.
It
are you
is.
under the? Can I ask a question? Are you under the misapprehension that amendments are basically irrevocable or
Who are you talking-
unchangeable? You, Aaron.
Okay. Ask your question.
Are you under the misapprehension that, or do you believe that amendments basically enshrine basic human rights, or are somehow unchangeable, or
No.
inalienable, whatever?
No.
No, they're not. They're, constitutional amendments are modifications to the Constitution. Amendments to the Constitution, they can be removed if
Amended.
necessary.
They can be
Yes.
amended. That's why they're called
Yes.
amendments.
Hello.
Yes.
Demonic.
Yeah.
Hello. I thought Channel X was asking me.
Yeah, that's not how your Constitution even works. It's amendments. They can be changed.
I didn't answer.
No, I'm just saying. It seems like you're basically saying that they're like scripture or something, like the Ten Commandments that aren't changeable. They're not. They are amendments. They can be changed. So if they decide at some point to remove the right to bear arms from the Constitution, they can do that.
What makes you think I say that?
It sounded like that's what you were saying. It sounded like that's where you were going.
Okay, so
It's a common thing I hear from Americans that think that the Second Amendment is like that can't be removed at any.
Maybe I could answer, or are you gonna? You can answer if you want.
Answer what? I was still talking. So
Okay, are you self-governing?
no one is self-governing to live anywhere with the government.
Okay.
Are you self-governing?
Okay,
If you live
so
somewhere with the government, of course you're not. You're
oh,
subject to the laws of the government in charge. You're not
stop.
self-governing.
Just stop. Okay, the premise and basis of America, you know, the United States, was
Right.
based upon self-governance. That was the premise. Stop it. Don't talk yet. That was the premise. Was based upon self-governance. Okay? Limited and small governance, you know, between each state. Okay.
Oh, that hasn't worked out too well,
Yeah.
has it?
Shish. Why are you talking? I wasn't. Now, okay. How do self-governing people protect themselves without a police force, without a fucking military? How do I protect my fucking farm against? Oh yeah, we have fucking guns, weapons. We have all sorts of hatchets. We got slings. We got all sorts of stuff. Bows and arrows. We have everything to protect our farm from somebody else. Right? What is wrong with that? Now, I don't say it happens today. I'm not saying it happens today.
That's what's wrong with it.
What
This
is
isn't the
wrong with that
1800s.
premise? Yeah, the
There's
premise.
this isn't this
So
the
you
premise.
can't protect your own house, right?
The premise is that you have a law which is enshrined in a time that doesn't exist
It's not
anymore.
a law. It's not a law. No. It's not a law.
Okay, this pedantic. I'm sorry. It's endless
The
pedantry
Bill of
here.
Rights. The Bill of Rights is not law. It's called the right. Right? The Bill of Rights. Second Amendment. Bill of Rights.
Someone else take this.
I knew it was a contentious conversation. It always has been.
Hey Terry. Yeah.
Well, it always has. I've always heard about it, and I just yes, in the time that it was written for a time that it was. They didn't foresee in the future how it could affect future, but because they didn't think of it that way in back then. Yes, they wrote it for future, but their future back then was different to what did happen. The
Mm.
the right to bear arms was written in a time when wasn't it the English that came over and started to do stuff over there or whatever to the government?
Yes, it was written. It was written as the Declaration of Independence from Britain. Then the amendment was made after the Declaration of Independence.
Well, they didn't want that to happen again. They didn't want anyone to overthrow something to happen with the government. It was to do with the.
And in the
People have the right to bear arms. Now,
and
arms.
when has this amendment been enacted by anyone?
Can anyone hear me? Hello.
Never.
Hello.
Hey man. Hey. My name's Aaron. I just joined. It just sounds like a whole bunch of people just talking over the top of each other. Is that what you're looking for, man?
No, not all the time. That doesn't usually happen.
Are you Terry?
Good. No, we're usually pretty quiet here, and we muck around and have a bit of a laugh or whatever. But to me, it's just a subject. Well, just been a bit serious, I suppose, for a bit about this, because I like to compare how we are in Australia for how we live, because it is the Aussie perspective part through Discord that I bring to my YouTube channel. And
yeah, no, I agree 100%, man. It's a great topic, but at the moment, you just got like one American guy who's just rambling on, and then someone talking over the top of him. It's a bit hard to try and follow it.
Oh well, that's the American Aaron.
That's me. Yeah. If
a little bit tipsy, I think. A little bit smashed.
It sounds like you have the kids in the car and stuff. I mean, are you able to speak or not?
Who's talking to who? I don't understand what's going on.
That was Aaron talking to you, Aaron.
Yeah.
We
Oh,
got
is there
two.
another Aaron here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The American.
we have
He's an American Aaron.
Is he? Oh, I've heard of him. Yeah, I've seen him around lately. He's a flatty, right?
You could call him the original, Aaron. But it's up to you. What do you want? What do you need? What's going on? What's on your mind?
Aaron's talking to Aaron.
Aaron, how do you spell your name? Double A?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Biblical way, the best way. And what's your story, man? What are we talking about? Fifth Amendment? Second Amendment?
Oh, yeah, we're actually talking about governments and rights and legislation, and yeah, it came down to Second Amendment.
Yeah, right. Well, we have pretty strict gun laws in Australia, and
Good for you. So I don't. So we shouldn't talk anymore, right? We need to just stop it.
Well, actually, America should be looking to us as the example,
exactly.
not the exception.
You can vote.
Our government will pay for your guns. They'll pay you to take it off
Take
your
them
hands,
away.
man. Burn them, bend them, melt them down.
What's wrong with having a gun, though? You know?
What's right with having one?
What's
Why do
the
you need
point
one?
of having one?
One, right?
Yeah,
Terry?
Why
What
would
do
you
you
want
need
a
a
gun?
gun for?
What's the point?
Do you
Yeah,
go
why
and
do you
play
need
your
one, Aaron?
sport like
No.
target
Are
shooting?
you
or-
constantly under threat?
No. I want to shoot a deer on my property. That's
Well,
why.
then you can have one. You're allowed to have one. In Australia, if you want to be a hunter, then you're allowed to have one. But you're not allowed to have a semi-automatic or an automatic weapon. You can have
No. Yeah. I'm not talking about a police issue weapon. What the police have here in America. They have AK-47s. They got fucking M16s. All the police have that. And so when I drive down the road and I get pulled over, they come up to my window with a fucking AK-47 pointed at my fucking door.
What?
Well, why do you
Um,
think they need to do that, man?
Good
and-
grief.
And since when have they used AK-47s for the police?
I'm just saying, yeah, that's a Russian weapon. But
That's
what I mean?
that's
The
complete.
police in America are overly armed, and so in Australia.
Do you know
Definitely.
why
What do
the
you-
police
what-
in your country are overly armed?
Absolutely, dude. They have tanks. They have
Yeah, do you
fucking
know why?
MRAPs.
The police don't have
They have
tanks.
MRAPs. They have bombs. They have drones. Yeah, the police in the country.
I've never been pulled over by a tank speeding down the highway.
Come to America, Terry. Come to America. You will. You will.
The reason cops have
gives
lots
me a
of
quarter panel,
guns-
taps me and knocks me off the road.
Terry, the reason that
Dude,
cops
not
have a
even
lot of
pump,
guns,
dude. He'll just run right over you with the track. It's not a quarter sap.
Why, Terry?
Terry, we're trying to say that. Oh, sorry, not Terry. Aaron, we're trying to say that the only reason that the police have those guns is because the perps, the individuals, have them as well.
What?
The people they're pulling over.
Because they're allowed to have a gun.
What?
It's a catch-22. It's a catch-22, isn't it?
My dad got pulled over, and now he's a criminal, right?
No, we're saying I'm saying it's a catch-22. The police have a gun because you have a gun.
I really want to know. I really want to know.
Terry.
Aaron,
The
can I
premise
ask you?
The premise started as we govern ourselves. We have the guns. The people.
That's not what governing yourself means, silly.
Yes, it is.
No,
Because
it's not.
we didn't shoot ourselves, did
No,
we?
that's not
We
what
didn't shoot
self-governing is. That's not what self-governing is.
And you tell me what self-governing is,
You elect officials and they govern you. That's self-governing.
No, it's not.
That's not you governing
You
yourself,
are the
silly
most
sausage.
ridiculous fucking guy I've ever heard of.
You think that self-governing means you govern yourself?
Self-governing.
Okay. Hold on.
That's not what
Let's
it
go
means.
One at a time, Aaron. Or face. I mean face.
Self-governing.
I'll call face.
Self-
I'll call Aaron face. That way Aaron doesn't get confused.
I hear face.
Self-
Yes. Here's Harry.
Yeah. I said don't talk over one
Self-governing.
another.
Self-governing means that you have the maturity and the intellect and the nous to realize that you don't need guns because all you are is shooting everybody and wiping everybody out.
Okay.
I have a question for you, Aaron. What on earth are you doing that police are pointing guns at you all the time?
Listen. Nothing, because you know what?
Nothing.
I
They
don't
just point guns at you.
I don't give them the opportunity, right?
Oh yeah, okay, I can see where that's going.
Absolutely. However,
I think that's.
here in America, the premise of a republic was called self-governing republic. That's the premise. Now, has it changed? Absolutely. Is it all fucked up? Absolutely. Are you guys worried about a fucking president of America? Yes, you are. I'm not. I own my own property. I have guns. I'll sit on my own property. If anybody comes up here and I don't know them, nobody knows, right? I don't know. Maybe I'll shoot them. Maybe I won't. It doesn't. It's not. I'm not out to kill. I'm not out to murder, maim, and
Wow.
fucking, do all that shit. But gee whiz, it's just it's the America for a reason, right? That's why you guys love it, because it is a
And
free country.
and now you know why. Now you know why American cops have guns.
Why?
Sorry, to the British man whose name I can't remember, but I've heard you a lot. Sorry, what's your name?
I call him Channel X or just X for short.
Hickory Nick.
Oh, Hickory Nick.
Yeah,
Hey.
Stop changing your name, X. Jeez.
You've obviously been mistaken for Tony a lot.
Yes,
yeah.
that is the right one. Channel X is the one who's been mistaken for Toady UK. Yes.
I'll be
Well,
back in a
you
minute,
can-
Davros.
You
Yeah,
can
mate,
do worse
no
than
worries.
that. You can do worse than that in life. The British police, I don't even carry weapons at all, do they? They don't carry any pistols.
That's correct. And you know why?
Yeah, I'll come rob you. That's fine.
You know why? One of the reasons is
They don't need them.
the
They have
police.
respect with them.
They don't need them, and then the British police basically said we don't want them.
Yeah, and I'll come rob you. That's no big deal, right?
Because you're American.
Absolutely right. And I have a gun.
So
And they have a
Not
gun. That's
something
why.
to be
That's why
proud of.
American police. That's why American police have guns, because Americans basically
I'll come to Britain and fucking rob you.
they're more violent people.
I'll come to
Simple as that.
Britain and fucking rob you. I'll come to Australia and fucking rob you. I'll come to Adelaide.
Have you seen what happens to people who do crimes in Australia? The people stand up and take them out.
Nothing. The criminals
Without a
never
gun.
get charged. The criminals never get charged. Right? It's always
you have a
that
very
gets
deluded
attacked.
way of
It's always
looking at the
you that
world.
gets fucking regulated.
Well,
It's
she's a flat
always
earther.
you that gets administrated. Always demonic. Don't tell
I
me
think
the criminals are fucking always the one that gets fucking caught. Fuck that. It's you that gets administrated. You that gets regulated. It's you that gets fucking, you can't do this. You can't do that.
How do I get
Because
regulated?
one criminal. There was one criminal. That's it. Okay? That's why we have.
I think it's a useless argument having with the USA Aaron at the moment. He's obviously pretty kissed and very proud of his country. So we're going around in circles. So I don't see the point.
Yeah, it is
You guys wanna
it is a bit defensive, isn't it? Just because
Mhm.
you have something written down as a statement in your laws or your government thing or whatever it is, and people use that verbatim. You know, hey, yes, we can have a gun. We're allowed to have a gun. We can walk around with a gun. Walk down the street with a gun, like the old Wild West type scenario.
Well, it just shows a huge amount, a lack of insight. Because
Terry,
I mean,
Terry?
we don't
Hey,
have.
wait a minute, Face. Wait a minute, Face. The other Aaron's talking.
We don't have. You know, we had the one big mass shooting in Hobart.
You're a bit low,
You know,
Aaron.
we had
Is that your mic?
Probably.
Yeah, you're a bit
We had
low.
the one big mass shooting 20 years ago, and we've had nothing more since then. You know, so
Speak up.
America has mass shootings daily, weekly. So to defend the right to bear arms and then not recognize that children and mothers and whose lives are being destroyed because you're allowed to carry a weapon, it's just dumb. Carry your weapons, wipe each other out. Go for it, mate.
Hey, Aaron. My name's Aaron.
Yeah.
There have been some horrific things in America. Did Aaron do that?
No, your laws allowed it to happen.
But what? Say again.
Yeah, the laws and amendments that you defend so heavily are the reason that it happens.
Well, I'm allowed to defend myself, yet I also promote mass shootings, right? I'm allowed to defend myself by right, but yet I'm the cause of a mass shooting. Right?
No one said that. We said your laws are the cause. If no one was allowed to carry weapons that they didn't have to register for and have a need for, like in Australia, a farmer can own a rifle or a number of rifles. They just have to register for it and have the license.
Do criminals register their weapons or not?
No, they buy them because they're available on the market.
What market? What market is that?
The black market.
Okay. So their black market should affect my right to defend my property by owning, just having, and just sitting on my property, not shooting no kids. I'm not going to a school.
But
shooting
Aaron, Face, you can go to Kmart and buy a fucking gun.
Goddamn right, yeah.
Well, that's just stupid, mate.
Well, no, you actually can't do that. But yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, it is pretty easy in America. But here's the thing: black market criminals don't go to Kmart, bro. They don't go to Kmart. They go to Los Angeles.
No, they don't need to.
They go to the fucking gang. They go to the gangs. They go to the drug dealers. They go to the fucking people that already have guns.
But Aaron,
right?
where did the guns come from in the first place?
The criminals. Well, who cares?
They had to be manufactured.
I have a gun. It doesn't matter. I have a gun. So I'm going to secure myself, is what I'm saying.
What are you scared of, Aaron? What are you scared of?
What is the threat to you?
Nothing.
What are you scared of?
No threat.
Can you
well,
see?
then you don't need a gun.
Can you see in our perspective, Aaron, that where we are in Australia, like as individuals like me or Demonic or our Australian Aaron, can you tell us that we need a gun for our situations?
Saying that. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, you're saying in your situation you think you need to have a gun. Why do you think we need to have a gun in our situations?
Harry, I don't have a gun.
Well, whether you have a gun or not, I'm just saying, like if in the general thing of the Americans having a gun, you're having a gun.
Who's doing the dishes?
Do you think we need to have a gun?
Sorry.
For our individual situations of how we are over here?
Thank you.
Terry, if I can address you without the guy stepping in. What is the problem with having a personal protection?
But what am I protecting myself against? Like I've got the door wide open.
The guy,
The
the
door's not
criminal.
locked. What criminal? There's no criminals.
I know. So then you'll never ever touch your gun, right? Just
Oh, I
like
wouldn't
me.
need one. I don't need one.
That's right. But the only people that have guns are criminals or government. Okay,
Yeah,
those are the only folks
yeah,
that have
to
fucking
us
guns.
that's fair because that's that type of situation is
So
generic, I suppose.
the only folks that have guns that could kill you are the government or criminals,
Okay, so
and you
what
have
gun
no
doesn't kill you?
way to protect
No,
yourself.
I know where he's going, Davros. Keep going, face. I know
Do
where
you
you're
have any
going.
way to protect yourself?
But why am I
Whether you're
needing? But
gun or
why?
not, you put it up in the shelf, Terry. You put it up in the shelf. Never touch it till the rest of your life. But it's so cool just to think that look, if somebody fucking comes into my house, I might, you know, like a burglar, a robber, a bad guy, a government, even a government comes into your house, say fuck off. Okay? Why not? If somebody's gonna shoot you, why not go down shooting? You know? Why would you go down kneeling? You just
But
kneel down,
but this
kneel
this
down.
is a fundamental problem with the American psyche.
What? Go down shooting
No, that
instead of go down kneeling.
you think that someone bad is going to come and get you.
No,
Yeah,
I'm asking
that's
the
paranoia. Yeah,
hypothetical.
but that's
The
paranoia.
hypothetical to Terry. It's a hypothetical to Terry.
Yeah, but
What if?
that's yeah. I understand what you're saying, but that putting it into a paranoia that you're just in your house at any time of the day that a criminal, or you could be walking down the street and a criminal can come and do something to you, and because you've got that gun, you can protect yourself in some way against that
Are
threat.
there criminals in Australia?
Yeah,
Of course, there's criminals in Australia.
There may be criminals, but we don't.
Okay,
I'm not paranoid that I can't even.
Let's not stereotype. Let's not stereotype. Are there bad people in Australia?
There's
Yes.
some very bad people in this
Oh
country.
my god. Are there weird people in
Yes,
Australia?
they are. Yes.
Okay. So do weird
I'm not
people
saying anything.
in Australia hold on. I'm rumpusing.
Yeah.
Hold on. Do certain people in Australia have guns?
If they
Define
do, I don't
certain.
know. Yeah, I don't know.
Define certain.
I don't know which certain people you're thinking. What, the general population, the general public?
Yeah, general public, no. How about criminals? Do they have guns?
They have known to have guns.
They have what?
They've been known to have guns. Yes.
Yeah, okay. What is
Look, maybe in all fairness, and I'm not sure if you guys know,
Yeah. Wait a
but
minute, face. Wait a minute, face.
where Aaron lives might be an area where the the gun populations are pretty high, and the risk of him getting robbed with someone carrying a gun is a lot higher than what we have in Australia.
No.
So
No. I live in America.
I know you live in America, but I'm saying, do you live in a very high risk place where robbery is quite high, and where people
We
rob
carry
houses
guns
with guns?
in our car. We carry
No,
guns in our
you
car.
missed the point. You missed the point,
But
face.
Trying to help you out, man.
Yeah.
Do you live in an area where gun crime is extremely high?
It's whether gun crime or theft or just
The question is, do you live in an area where gun crime is high? It doesn't matter whether it was murder or theft or whatever. Is it done with a gun?
that's a no.
Well, who knows? Anyway, who knows?
That's the whole thing of it. It's that you're talking generic for the American population, but individually, people's situations are all different. If you're in an area that you could be having, of that's been reported that there's lots of bad people or criminals that carry guns.
Dish. Hello.
Who's the noisy person? Yeah. Like the percentage of people here in Australia that, like, for me, I haven't seen a gun, and I haven't been in any situation where the criminal activity been near me. So isn't that the government's problem with the reinforcing the laws to do with criminals in the first place? Is where it stems from. For why the need to protect yourself against people with guns, because the right to bear arms was meant to be for the government, not so much just yourself to protect
Yeah,
against.
it was.
The doors. Okay. Can't go through the door. I already closed the both.
Getting a lot of background people.
Huh?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Uh-huh.
Totally close.
Hey, like these. Okay. What do you want me to do? The tissue?
That's all.
Okay.
Terry,
Mm-hmm. Yes, Davros.
push the mute button on those people.
Yeah, it's easy to do.
Yeah. Yeah. This argument of I can have a gun so I can stop people.
I'm not for or against guns in my argument. It's just the reasoning behind of the general side of it.
If you look at the way like gang wars and that are, it's because guns are freely available. If they didn't have the guns, they wouldn't have the wars with the guns. They'd be using baseball bats and knives.
Well, what I was alluding to when that last statement I was saying about the government cracking down on crime stuff. It's like, for an example here, that was only several days ago here, a place was held up and robbed a petrol station. Now, even though they didn't have a gun when they robbed them, they had a pair of scissors or something. That's the criminal side of it I'm talking about. Yes, he could have had a gun, but it was still the psyche and the criminal activity side of it to go and rob the petrol station in the first place. Yes, and then we say, oh, we need to protect ourselves against that type of criminal. Oh, well, we should have a gun.
But no, that's why our petrol stations and convenience stores have insurance. Okay, so you get threatened with a knife to hand over the money. The rule of thumb, you hand over the fucking money and they go.
Yeah, whether they've got a gun or a knife or whatever, doesn't matter.
Yeah, but the exception to the rule is when the operator gets shot. But that is a rare occurrence. Most of the time, if you do what the criminal asks of you, you will not be harmed. Unless you're in a kidnap or a threatening situation where the actual ideal of that criminal is to threaten your life. And the distinctions that we make in Australia is, okay, you're threatening me, what is it you want? Whereas in America, you're threatening me, I'm going to kill you.
Or I need a gun to protect myself.
From a threat that is never going to come.
It's like it's like having an insurance policy for your life or your car or whatever.
Hello.
Hello, Leah.
Hi, Leah.
Hello. I wanted to make a point, but Demonic just kind of touched on it, and I don't know if I was held up with someone by a weapon, whether it's a gun or a knife or what. I'm not sure that I'd want to pull a weapon out of my handbag. I think that would be more dangerous than going, here's my wallet, here's my phone, bye.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. You be compliant with the situation. You don't
Yeah,
try to antagonize the situation any further by
it's
retaliating or being defensive in that situation, because the
also
psyche,
if I was in America and the cops were pointing a gun at my head, I'd be really glad I don't have a gun.
What do you
I'd
guys
be
think?
more
Because they're
compliant.
not less likely to freaking accidentally shoot me if I don't have my own weapon. It's
What do you
like
guys think? What
it's a
do you
power
guys think?
struggle thing, isn't it? You've got two powers meeting each other, and if both have equal power, it's not going to end well. If one person is going to back down, it's going to end up a lot better. And like Demonic said, the only time that it's maybe not going to go that way is if the person with the weapon's intent is to kill, in which case you're probably going to end up dead anyway, and they're going to sneak up on you and take you out in your sleep or in the back of your head anyway. You're not going to have a chance.
Terry.
Wait a minute, Face. Leah, what you just described was the Cold War.
Yeah, exactly.
That was an exact analogy for the Cold War that happened.
Terry.
Yes, Face.
When I say arms or armor or armament, what does that mean to you? Arms. What does it mean? Armor, protection.
Guns.
We still didn't get back onto the point that I was going to make about that phrasing to do with the when they wrote that. They were talking about to gather a militia or a group of people to bear arms to go against the government. If you do look into the history of what is written about that, of how it was written, and the meaning behind it, of how things were written back then, not just the amendment, of how people spoke.
Very, very, very separate. I believe it was in the Fourth Amendment where they said yes, and the right to Congress to
I'm not talking about the actual document itself. I'm talking about how people spoke and how they wrote explanations or words back then. And if you correlate what they wrote for the amendment to when they wrote other things, you'll see that when they wrote that meaning also meant for a group of people to bear arms against.
What is arms? What is arms exactly? What is arms?
It's the word. It's the two words together, to bear arms. Not just the word arms on its own.
To bear arms means to bear firearms.
To bear. What does bear mean? What does bear mean? To bear.
Hold means to hold.
Or present, right? To bear.
No, it means to hold. In that instance, it means to hold.
What do you mean in that? I'm not talking about.
Okay, in the amendment, to bear arms means you are allowed to hold firearms.
If you bear something, what about a wife? She bears a child, right? She holds it, right?
Context. This is the problem. You're not getting the context of the word.
I know. Now, what are arms?
Firearms.
What?
Arms was short for armament.
No, or armor, right? Or armor.
No.
Oh, it can't be armor. It has to be firearm.
How can it be armor when arms is short for armaments?
Arm is short for armor.
No, it's
damn
it. The word is to bear arms. ARMS. It is a shortened word for armaments.
Armor.
I don't think so.
With it.
A shield, a protection.
You want me to read the definition?
Yeah.
In the
Terry,
language?
Terry, I posted a link in the internal chat for some statistics that compare Australia and the US with violent crime, so that might be interesting.
They're Australian people. So, yeah. So that, I don't know.
A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
No. Look
They
up the
claim
word
that the term bear arms is an
armor.
dynamic expression that means to serve as a soldier, do military service. That's the meaning of how they wrote things back then.
No. Look up the etymology for the word arms or
No, you
armor.
have to use the two words together.
No, you don't. No.
But
The
then
right
you're
to bear
misconstruing
arms.
the way the word is being used.
A word
Right
has
Look up,
a word.
look up the word. Look up the word pedantic.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking.
Right to bear arms. Just look
What
it
are
up.
you even talking about?
Arms.
Why are we explaining
What are
basic
arms?
dictionary definitions?
Aaron, your interpretation of the Second Amendment is not correct.
You know what? Just let him have it, because he has a right to wear some armor and not to have an
And not to have a gun.
armament.
Yep. Okay.
It's all good. That's all we need to do. America, you've interpreted it wrong this whole time. Go and put your bulletproof vests on, all will be well.
Sweetheart, that's very good. Those songs to bear them.
That just means to carry.
To carry or to hold.
Yeah, right.
And it also reads a well-regulated militia.
To carry
being
and
necessary to the security of the state, being the right of the people to keep and bear arms.
To carry and
for
to
the militia,
hold
for
what?
the militia. No, it doesn't say hold.
No,
it says for the
arms.
regulated militia.
What are arms? What are arms?
It says.
Yeah, for the militia. Are you a militia?
I'm saying it's a shield. I'm saying it's the shield. Armament, armor.
Okay, you're using two words and one wrong word.
It's a gun. You guys are saying it's a fucking pistol. It's a.
I know.
You guys are the ones saying that. I'm saying
Aaron,
I have the
okay. Forget it. Aaron,
all right.
Forget it. You're not listening.
Yeah, let's move along.
Yeah,
Another
might
topic.
have to move along because he's not.
I have the right to bear a shield, right?
You keep getting stuck on the bear arms part. I'm trying to read you the bit that actually what it's written
He's stuck,
to what
period.
it means. Yeah, you're stuck in a loop, Aaron. You have to be a regulated militia necessary to the security of a free state.
Terry,
Are you a militia? Are you a militia?
I'm a self-governing individual. Yeah.
You're not a militia.
Never mind. Never mind.
Anyway.
Let's move on. Let's move on to something else.
Individual, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I think we're just getting stuck in a loop here with meanings and what's actually written down as fact.
Terry, I don't care anymore. I'm having pancakes for dinner.
Okay.
Yep. And it's 1:43 a.m. and I just had pizza.
Oh, okay. That sounds good. No
Hey,
pineapple.
pizza's an anytime food.
Better not be pineapple on that pizza.
Actually, there was. Amazing. How did you know?
Terry, I gotta
Seriously,
go
there's
to bed.
pineapple in it.
I'll be
Terry,
back
I
in a sec,
gotta
Garros.
I got the right from the cop sitting outside. He told me it's okay to go to bed now. So
Okay.
I'm gonna go to sleep, and I'll catch you guys in the morning. All right. It's been fun. Thank you so much, Terry.
It always is. Yeah. We have a conversation about anything, Aaron.
All you guys, everything's been great. Hopefully, I wasn't too, weird or whatever.
We'll bring something else up again that you can argue about.
Yep, and I'll fucking argue about it. God damn it.
Okay, thanks, mate.
See you later, guys. All right.
Yeah.
How do you say good night in Aussie? How do you say that?
See you later.
See you later.
Auf Wiederhören, ja. Okay. Well, that was something.
Some people don't know how to word. Or three. Can't word, can't three, can't listen. Arms means armor. Fuck's sake.
Yeah. Armaments. Just
Terry's
watched
fault.
Terminator. We watched Terminator 2 yesterday.
Awesome. Best sequel ever. Apart from
Oh,
Aliens.
very good. Yes, our next one is next on our list on Netflix is Alien, and then we're going to watch Aliens.
Oh, awesome.
Because we watched Terminator, then Terminator 2, we're watching Alien, then Aliens.
Oh, it's a James Cameron-a-thon.
That's right.
James
That's
Cameron
right.
and Ridley Scott. Awesome.
Aliens is better than Alien, I reckon.
See, Alien and Aliens are two different films. Alien is basically a horror in space, whereas Aliens is a action flick.
Yeah. The Alien is all creeping around in dark, dank, sweaty, dreary interiors, wide-angle lenses.
Except for X, where are you? Where are most of the Aussies here? So I'm from Brisbane. I'm in Brisbane.
Okay, so we've got me in South Australia. We have Leah and Terry in New South Wales.
We're not going to get specific to cities. Is that too much doxing?
I live
Central
in Elizabeth,
New South
Elizabeth
Wales.
Grove.
2.5 hours west of Sydney.
How many?
2.5 hours west.
You're out near Bathurst somewhere.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah, right. Cool. I grew up in Dubbo.
All right.
Well, even further, Burke. But I spent a lot of time in Dubbo.
Out the back of Burke.
Out the back of Burke, indeed. And we're all ball earthers.
We're all rational human beings.
Nice. I've been following the the flat Earth movement for a number of years now, probably
back
3 or
again.
4 years.
Oh, so you know how dumb they can be, don't you?
Yeah, look, I got into it because I saw something, and for about 3 or 4 days, I was really, really contemplating whether the Earth was flat or not, and then I just forgot about it and went, no, that's just stupid. That's just the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. But I became more kind of interested in the personalities around it and the different types of people and the reasons that they're into it, and and what they'll do to stay in it, or whether it's a job for them, or whether it's a passion for them, or whether it's something to do with their religion or their spirituality. And it's becoming it became kind of like not an obsession, but certainly something that I spent a lot of time listening to. And you can make some really, you can box them very clearly into a number of different kind of personality criterias or personality types, as to why they're in it and what they're doing, and how much they'll do to try and either make a living or convince people that the Earth is flat. And just in the last week or so, there's been a lot of things around from the flat round Earthers saying that it's dying, but I'm not sure. I'm not so sure it is.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. No, what they're saying it's dying is they're not bringing anything new to the table.
Yeah,
that's why it's dying.
So you don't think they're saying it's going to go away?
Oh,
No.
it'll never go away. Conspiracies never go away.
Yeah, no, conspiracies
It's
won't go away.
I think a lot of people who have watched the debunking are starting to get sick of it too, because it's become so repetitive and it's not as entertaining anymore. So some of the debunkers channels aren't going as well as they used to. So that's part of it as well.
Yeah, look,
There
I
isn't-
don't. I know that there might be people who are friends of Fight the Flat Earth and Team Skeptic and those sorts, but I've never really liked their attitude either. It's kind of just. It seems like they're trying to do the same thing. They're trying to make money out of debunking. I much prefer, the tactics of Toady, for example. The people who are reasonably intelligent, highly intelligent, articulate, and just challenging and trying to show them up rather than abusing them. But yeah, it's a weird thing. I mean, I kind of, my wife just laughs at me when she sees me listening to anything about flat Earth, because she just believes it's so ridiculous. She can't believe that I would spend time even listening to people. But I kind of am. I want to find out what happens to these personalities now. I want to see how Riley's paper goes. I want to know if Nathan Oakley ever gets a real job or whether he's going to do that. And I want to know if Arwen goes crazy again and melts down. And I want someone to punch QE in the face. And I'm more
You're not
than
the
happy-
only one.
Oh,
more
yeah, but
than-
you're forgetting the biggest question of all. Is Canadian bacon ham?
Yeah. That was that's on a Yosei Yosei thing, wasn't it?
You have been following this, haven't you?
Yeah. Oh, look, I love Yosei. Jose, I love him very much. He's just such an interesting character. But again, his show is getting pretty repetitive, and he's trying to do his best. He's reinventing it when he gets to 200 shows. And yeah, look, I love Spurs, and I love Rumpus. I think Spurs is probably the greatest shill in the world. There's no way that guy can be serious.
Actually,
and sometimes
Ranty is the greatest shill because every time he does an experiment, he proves the round Earth.
well, it's funny because Ranty put a call out to say to Ball Earthers, would you like to join me on my weekly show where we look at all the shows that have been gone on the week and comment? And I said yeah, and no one else applied. And so we had a 2-minute chat, and then he said, okay, I'll call you tomorrow morning. And it was like ridiculous times. I think it was like 3 a.m. Australian time. So I got up and it didn't work. He cancelled the show. I did it the next morning, cancelled the show, didn't work. Did it the next morning and it all went okay. But he had Riley on there. And
Oh, no.
before it went live, I was saying, yeah, hey, Riley, my name's Aaron. And he said, shut up, save it for the show, or something like, just he's being a right dick. And once the show started, we were supposed to be talking about the episodes and giving our feedback on the episodes that have been through the week. But Riley just wanted to attack me. And I kept saying to him, mate, I don't have any scientific knowledge. I don't have any scientific proof or evidence. I'm just a ball earther because I see the sunrise and the sunset, and I see the moon and it looks like a sphere. And just kept it very simple. And he wouldn't stop. He just wouldn't stop. And he kept trying to attack me and tell me that I was a pseudoscientist and a whole bunch of stuff, and wanted me to show citations and stuff. He's an absolute bully. And it was all just because he was trying to measure the size of our dicks, man. We could have just got our pants off and taken photos and got it over and done with in a couple of seconds.
Yeah,
He's
no one's
just
got a
an
purple dildo as big as his.
He's an absolute tosser. So I spoke to Ranty afterwards and said that was pretty unfair. We're supposed to just be talking about the shows, and I'm happy to continue, but that was pretty unfair. And he said, yeah, sure, no problem. And then remember ages ago, there was a Ranty put up a video about this Birmingham Tower thing that had to be line of sight during the war.
Oh, the BT tower.
Yeah, do you remember that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the British Telecom tower.
Yeah, so when he put that out, he was saying, they were all saying, Oakley, Riley, Huey, Ranty, they were all saying that this is definitive evidence that the Earth is flat. And, you know, they were all high-fiving each other, and it was the greatest, you know, discovery ever. And then it all went quiet. Nothing happened. And then Simon Dan brought something out, and it just, you know, debunked it straight away. So I sent Ranty a text, a message to say, will you be looking into this further after Simon Dan's video? You're going to, you know, put out another video. And he banned me. That's it. He blocked me. So I've got no, I can't, he blocked me from email, and he blocked me from Skype and everything else. So that's the kind of man he is. Great story, right?
Yeah, the BT
that's
tower
typical.
that requires relay stations.
Which globe Earth in the debates area is the one that you're for, against, or bad, worse, whatever?
Who do I like best as a globe Earth
Oh
debater?
yeah, but you know, yeah, the ones that usually do the debating, you know, like the best, the worst, you know, either way doesn't matter.
Oh, Toadie's definitely the best. Yeah, he's polite, he's articulate, he's a gentleman. I think only once or twice I've heard him say something that I thought was a bit rough, but most of the time he's very patient. The worst is got to be Spurs. Rumpus. Rumpus is embarrassing. I think sometimes
Hang on, wait a minute. I'm not finished. Hang on, wait. Just
Yeah,
5 more
yeah,
minutes. Wait.
Just give me another
Yep.
minute.
Hold on. Yeah. I mean, he's obviously an incredibly intelligent man, and I imagine him because he sounds so posh. I imagine him sitting in his
Oh, he's
study in
British.
this
He's
massive.
British.
I know, but imagine him being like born with a silver spoon in his mouth, never had a job, you know, being able to be schooled at the greatest schools, and he doesn't have to work because he's got dad and mum's money, and he just sits there and argues. But yeah, he's probably the he does us the most damage. Yeah.
Actually, he does have a job.
What is he?
I think he does something with computers, programming, or something like that. He does have a
This
job.
It's just how I imagine him anyway.
Yeah,
I imagine Spurs Gizmo as his twin brother sitting in the other room, and they're just taking the piss out of everybody.
Spurs doesn't work. He's unemployed.
Yeah, it's just what I imagine. But
Well,
I mean,
he has to be with all the time he spends on these discussions, right? He's never
at
out of
last, Spurs is, despite everyone thinking he's quite dumb, he's a very, very clever man to go down that pressure route, and there's temperature and pressure are all related and stuff. He took flat Earth and ball Earth sideways for at least a month.
I don't think he's intelligent. I think he's very skillful at evading questions and shit like that. But I don't think that takes intelligence.
You don't reckon that was all set up?
I don't think he's intelligent, is what I'm saying. I think
he's got an agenda because he plans things, and you do see him do things like he'll go away for a while and then he'll come back with a statement and bring it up and say, "This is what we're going to talk about now," because he's gone away and done some study and some research about something, and then he'll come back and lay it all out.
Yeah, look, I think he's all just it's a laugh for him. He's just having a laugh. I'm not. Anyway, we can all disagree, but I can't stand Oakley and I can't stand QE. I can't understand how people still listen to the show. There's nothing going on there. It's no ball earthers go on there. I don't know how it survives. It's been talking about Coriolis for about 8 weeks now, and
have their target audience, and it's a pretty low bar. That's how they get away with it.
Well, they're all sycophants. They're just sycophants. They just want to be,
Yeah.
you know, in
So
touch with.
Nathan and Huey have their followers, and those are the people that are impressed by it, and that's a low bar. That's all they're doing.
Yeah.
Has anyone been on Oakley's lately? Is he still getting many super chats, or?
Yeah, man, he gets heaps.
I should add him on Social Blade and see what's going on. I don't watch him very much anymore. I used to keep an eye on him a bit, but
I used to
I
participate
haven't.
in the early days when he first started doing it, and it was decent actually. He would actually, you know, have a level playing field, but then all of a sudden, because the flat earthers were getting hammered, he started intervening. That's when I stopped going in.
I think he gets around £700 a month in Patreon donations.
Is that after the 30% they take?
No, Patreon, they don't take anything.
Oh, sorry, yeah, I think that's super chat. Yeah, I beg your pardon.
Yeah, so Patreon, they don't take anything, and he'd probably get at least a few £100 in super chats.
Yeah,
But I always wonder what his wife must think. Like when she comes home from work, she's been working hard. She comes home and she sees her husband just screaming abuse at Brenda, calling her an old faggot whore or something, and he's supposed to be looking after his kids, and they're probably, you know, in another room watching Teletubbies or something while he's sitting in a chair screaming abuse at someone. It's just like, how could you love someone like that? How could you
Great role
respect
model.
someone like that?
I reckon she's terrified of him. Can you imagine?
Yeah, I was about to say she's probably part of his little toxic world herself and caught up in
A bit of Helsinki syndrome.
We can't
Yeah, she's not-
speculate too much, but if he's as narcissistic as I suspect he is, she's probably a victim as well.
No.
To what degree, I don't know, but
Sorry, they had he had a video on his YouTube the other day of them going to a Halloween thing over there. The way she looks at him and all the rest of it, she's part of it. I know fear. I've been there. I've done that. She's got no, she hasn't. She's not afraid of him. So she probably sits there and enjoys, you know, exactly what he does just as much as what she gets out of it.
So two narcissistic people.
When he was when she was on maternity leave, look, I know way too much about these people, but when she was on maternity leave, I thought, okay, this is his opportunity. He's going to go get a job, right? She can be at home and look after the two kids, and he can go out and get a job, even if it's just like packing shelves at night or something like that. He's going to shut his channel down for 3 months, and he's going to earn some money. But he didn't. Just stayed doing the same thing. So, I don't get it. I don't get it.
Nathan's got daddy's money.
Oh, okay.
His political father.
He's also got shares in a battery, like car battery charging company as well, you know, like the electric cars, something like that. Again, I know too much.
Oh, he's invested in science that he
You've been
denies.
stalking Nathan Oakley, Aaron.
Hey?
You've been stalking him.
Yeah, I stalk him all right, man. I stalk them all. I get kicked off Arwen's channel about once a week because he can't answer any questions and he gets frustrated. And I really feel sorry for him. And
I think you and Baller Peter need to talk.
Baller Peter
might have to set up a self-help group.
Are you on Discord, Aaron? We should get in Discord.
Yeah, I think I'm talking to you on Discord now.
No, we're in Zoom.
Oh, okay. I am on Discord, but I'm really bad at that kind of stuff, Leah. So.
Oh, okay. Well, we just often voice chat there if we're not live. We hang out there a lot.
I'm in Fair Sucker the Sav channel.
Yeah,
that's our channel.
My Discord server is called the Ozzie Perspective. Yeah.
Oh, you're in there then. That's good.
Yeah.
So the Aussie perspective, I'll try and. Oh yeah, that's cool.
That is fair
Yep.
sucker to Sav.
Fair
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sucker
I'm
the
in there.
Sav's the channel, but the Discord server is called the Aussie Perspective.
Yeah, I'm really terrible at that stuff. So sorry about that. I just not that much of a Discord's too new for me. But if
Yeah, I think
people
you
like,
could take over for Peter for Ross, because I think Peter's getting a bit drained helping out Flat Earth Aussie Jesus, and now you can take over.
hey, I used to live very close to where Flat Earth Aussie Jesus lives. He lives in Clunes, which is up in the hills around Byron Bay.
Yes, he does. Yeah.
Yeah, famous for the mushrooms and the.
Yeah, he lives near Jubilee Rock.
Yeah. So there's heaps of cattle up there, heaps of dairy farms, and magic mushrooms are just everywhere.
Yes, we know about
turn.
him and his magic mushrooms.
He's just fried his brain. He's out of control. Kind of got a big set of balls though to get on and then talk about his messed up theories.
Oh, he's every conspiracy plus one.
I would far prefer to talk to Flat Aussie Jesus over dinner than Anthony Riley over dinner.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, but okay, here's the difference. You'd have to pay for Flat Earth Aussie Jesus to have dinner, whereas Anthony Riley would probably be able to afford to buy you dinner.
You reckon he's got money?
Well, he got £3,000 from a GoFundMe.
Yeah, he got 2,050, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, but yeah, he's a weird guy, because if someone disagrees, it drives him crazy. He can't handle the fact that anyone will disagree with him. So you can see from his videos or his statements or his little arguments that he has with people. So if everything goes well, he won't post anything. But if things go bad, he just keeps posting and posting and posting and posting. It's like this obsession with him where he must have people concede and
And all he
understand
does is
him.
give out ammunition for other people to debunk it.
Yeah, all he does is just make himself look like a twat. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know why he exposes himself to it. Peter said he thinks he likes the attention because he's so lonely, and I don't think the Flat Earthers give him much time, attention or like him much. So he's ended up in all these live chats over this side.
You don't think the Flat Earthers like him much? He's a part of FE Corps.
Is he? He doesn't get many views on his channel or anything like that.
No, I think he probably doesn't mind that because he thinks he's better than that. But just that latest stuff that he's been posting about, education and politics and gravity, and it's not a force. It just doesn't stop. So what are we going to do to debunk it? There's really nothing, because we've taken photos of the spherical Earth. So there's not much more that we can do, really, is there?
We just got to wait for the next time we go to the moon.
They won't believe it.
Of course not.
Or the space, or those space flights that what's his name setting up?
Oh, Richard Branson, Virgin Galactic.
Yeah. I was talking to Arwen now. Arwen is obviously a very unstable young man or old man. But I just mentioned in a chat, if there was a court case for flat Earth versus spherical Earth, who would have the most evidence? And he swore black and blue that flat Earth would have more evidence.
What evidence?
I know.
Evidence. No one ever provides evidence, and yet Arwen's saying they got more than the spherical Earth. That's funny.
Yeah, all they have is conjecture.
Yeah, conjecture's not evidence.
That's right.
Well, look, I mean, that's what I argued. I said, okay, well, what's your evidence? And then I got banned again. But
Yeah, you know, evidence is a bad word. It's proof.
So's the N word and the G word, and there's a few of them.
Model. You don't ever ask them for a model.
Oh, the M word. Yeah, the M word.
What was the N word, Terry?
yeah, what was the N word, Terry?
NASA.
Oh, NASA. Yeah.
Yeah. NASA, gravity, evidence, and Coriolis.
No, don't bring up Coriolis.
Yeah, but that's the bad words in their books.
Yeah.
Because they can't disprove them with any evidence.
Lunar eclipse. There's another thing.
Mass,
Sunsets.
weight,
Sunsets debunks everything they say.
atmosphere.
Ether band.
Isn't it so simple that if the moon was going away on a flat Earth, it would get smaller and smaller?
Yeah, the same would be the sun.
Sorry, the sun. That's what I mean.
Yeah,
Sorry,
the sun or the
sun.
moon. Wouldn't matter which one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the sun's going away to the other side of the flat Earth. It would get smaller, and wouldn't it also go like a elliptical shape, more like a football?
Yep, it could do.
But that doesn't happen, right?
Also, it's that bright that you would see it on the other side of the flat Earth.
It wouldn't go elliptical if it was a sphere.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's if they
Why
say
not?
it was flat. If it wasn't yeah.
It would if it's a flat disc pointing down at us. Then it would, yes, but not if it's spherical.
No.
But of course, we don't know what the sun is.
No, we don't know that. But
Oh.
the other one, Aaron,
That's the most ridiculous.
The other one, Aaron, is that when the sun rises and sets here in Australia, what arc does it actually follow in the sky from sunset to sunrise? Sunset to sunrise to sunset, like in the sky. Does it do a curve arc or a straight arc?
Mine does a straight arc.
Right. Well, that wouldn't happen on a flat Earth.
Why not?
It would be curved.
It'd be curved.
Can you explain that to me?
Okay, so look up. The sun would go.
Oh, of course, I've got you. Yeah, it'll go around. Yeah,
it'd go from your right, to in front of your face, and then to your left, but not up and over. Like even though it's in the northern sky, it still goes up and over.
Yeah, it doesn't curve.
So
it doesn't rise in your northeast, go up over your head, straight above you, and then set in the northwest.
So why isn't that enough?
I don't know. And that's an observation that anyone can do.
You know what it is? It all comes down to feeling special.
Oh,
Peter,
Peter,
you
you
know
are
you're not the
special.
only lurk. We found another person that's a stalker like you.
I've been listening. It's all right. I do my best. I do my best listening in the.
I think you two need to compare notes.
Look, so if for any of those people out there that don't know, Ross has actually lost his access to Discord at the moment. So Ross may have entered in that 2-part authentication and then forgotten half of his authentication, so he can't get back in. So poor Ross, all of his 300 people that are following, which I firmly believe 90% of them are
Globers.
Globers. You know, he is a very lonely man. His last stream was him playing the guitar. Not one mention of the whole flat Earth, because he didn't have enough time to get stirred up in Discord first.
Yeah. He didn't get worked up.
Yeah, so you can sit down and actually have decent conversations with Ross if you don't mention the flat Earth. I probably won't go there for a little while because he really upset me last time we had a discussion. But look, he's not a bad bloke. He's just very easily led down the garden path. And he believes whatever other people tell him, especially if it's conspiracy based. You know, I think our next point of call, which was touched on earlier, will be not necessarily, the flat Earth thing will slowly wither. It will not die, like has been said already. It won't die. It will wither away, and like a weed that just doesn't get poisoned, it will just come back up through the cracks when no one's looking. But there's a lot of other shit on YouTube that needs to be addressed. The mentality and the way that people address these individuals that call themselves flat earthers. The way that people hold these individuals that have got differing views to a level, but they don't hold themselves to the same level. These are the things that need to be addressed, I believe. It's if you give flat Earth a medium in which that they can talk. If you even have a debate / discussion with them, you're doing nothing but giving them airtime. And it's the old allergy of any news is, or any sort of advertisement is good advertisement, be it good or bad. You get their name out there, and you're basically advertising flat Earth by simply debating them. It's there's many Poes out there on the flat Earth community, like your Nathan Oakleys, like your JM Truths. JM Truth is doing it nothing more than to try and kickstart his film venture. He's just trying to write. Yeah. I'm not saying he's a good producer or anything. I'm just saying you have a look. He's doing nothing more than riding the coattails of the flat Earth to try and get his name out there.
Yeah.
He's using the less fortunate individuals that are prepared to donate to his cause to simply make money so that he can make more videos. You've got the Rileys that are so self-absorbed with their own being that they think they're right no matter what. Whereas, of all of the people, Tony bloody Riley tried to debunk Blue. Who in their right mind would even fathom the thought of trying to debunk Blue? He's an intellectual. He's intellectually honest. He sprouts nothing but truth and fact. But Riley attacked him like he was a common liar. The flat Earth community themselves do not have anything new to work with. I could sit down for 15 minutes and make up a better flat Earth story than they can, and I've proved it. They don't even try anymore. They don't look for answers. They don't look for truths because it doesn't fit what they want to say. I think it is going to come to a slow and painful death. But like I said before, where do we go from there? What do we start looking at perpetual motion devices and free energy devices and all of that? Realistically, there's so much crap on YouTube that probably deserves more mentioning than anything like flat Earth.
Peter, on this channel, we obey the laws of thermodynamics.
No. Free energy, mate. It's the way to go.
Show me.
Oh, there's hundreds of videos. Just type in over Unity motor. This is what I'm saying. Type in the words over Unity motor in YouTube, and my God, you will be surprised how much shit is out there. Obviously, they got in contact with Scotty from Star Trek and started breaking the laws of physics.
Yes, such as slingshots around the sun to cause time travel.
Yeah, all that good stuff, But there are individuals that I see that are hiding within our midst that are using the whole debate system for nothing more than a financial gain on their own behalf. You know, they look to be on the right side, so people see them as do-gooders, but realistically, when you have a look at them somewhat deeper, they're not. They're just as intellectually dishonest as quite a few of the flat earthers. You know, so how far do you want to go with this whole righting of wrongs? You know?
I'll tell you what, we're damn lucky that flat earthers are not able to argue to argue their point like you just did, because if they went after debunkers in that way, they might actually, for the first time ever, make a decent point. they're too busy with their flat earth stuff to actually figure out how to do that.
See what 48 hours can do to my mind. All of a sudden, it starts working again.
Well, we
Imagine. Sorry.
You go, Aaron. You go.
I was just going to say, imagine Riley's children or grandchildren, Googling, what did Dad do? What did Granddad do? And coming up with that. I mean,
perish the thought.
We've all Googled our own names, so imagine if your father or your grandfather turned out to be the laughing stock of a generation.
But he's so sure-steady in his beliefs that no matter what anyone says, it's not going to change him. You know, and this is what I find quite ironic, is that some of those bigger debating channels that you spoke about earlier, it's almost like they've got the preconceived notion that they're the ones that are going to debunk everything and the flat earth is just going to go away. It's not. They're not going to fix it like that. The best that you could hope for, and it's been said by people smarter than me, the best that you can hope for is for them to walk away after you have a discussion with them with that thought of, that's interesting. I might look into that. I wonder if they are right. If you can just plant the seed of a thought in their head, all of a sudden there's a possibility, a chance that they might actually look into it a lot further than they have and gone, well, I've been following a pack of silly people, haven't I?
Yeah, and that's exactly right. And the analogy about seeds is 100% because you don't plant seeds by hammering them into the ground, do you?
No, you have to poke a hole in it first.
Do it gently, and you create a nice little, flower bed, and you fertilize it, and you
gently
water
poke a hole in it. Then you plant your seed.
So
then you fertilize it.
Some of them won't grow. Some of them will die.
This sounds like a lesson in it's getting very erotic, but
I was going to say
gardening. But that's how you plant a seed. You poke the hole, you put the seed in, you fertilize it.
Does that mean we have to drown all the bullshit?
We actually have to. Well, it's not a good analogy in that sense, because fertilizer is often poo, isn't it? So there's a lot you could. Yeah, that just ruined the whole analogy.
But Peter, we could just make the rise to eye level.
There are a lot of people who like the bigger channels. I think. Sorry, who just came back? Sorry, is it Peter?
Yeah, that'd be me.
Yeah, Peter. I think you mentioned a lot of the bigger channels, and I think there's a lot of fans of channels like Fight the Flat Earth.
Don't mention names. Don't mention names. It's not.
Well, I think there are a lot of fans of those channels. I'm certainly not one, because I don't see any difference between what they do and what the Flat Earthers are doing.
Yeah.
And I certainly don't find it entertaining or fun or very good at all. And that's why I like to listen to people like Toadie's the one that just keeps coming off the top of my head at the moment, because he's just a measured man, and Wolfie and those guys who are just and Big Blue and Bob the Science Guy, they just just not disrespectful in their responses. You know, they're just clever, and they don't need to resort to abuse to get a point across.
Bob does. Don't you go nice about Bob? Bob probably worth out a lot of them. He sits there at Jose's channel and absolutely rips them apart and calls them all every name under the sun. It's only when he's on his video that he is nice and portrays a special type of character that he wants to come across as.
Yeah, and I think Dory kind of touched on something that's very important as far as I'm concerned. It's the hypocrisy of some of them. You know, it's very much so. And all right, I don't want to use any names because that's just the way I am. But you know, there are individuals out there that in the middle of the debates will use their mute button just as much as Nathan Oakley. Now, I don't necessarily believe that's the right way to go. However, in certain circumstances, it's the only way to hush a argument that should be nothing more than a debate.
You're obviously talking about Jose,
No, I'm not talking about Jose. Actually, there are others that do it.
I don't know any other channels.
Yeah, well,
there's
we
one
won't get
main
into
one.
it.
There's one main one that does it.
I find, look, I'm pretty much an open book, and like I've said to everyone before, I could be doxxed tomorrow, and I would not care. You know, if they want to come to my house, fine, come and have a beer. I don't really care. You know, you could even have a discussion about flat Earth if you want. You know, and I'll take you for a drive, and I'll prove how silly you are by taking you to the top of a hill. You know, it's the hypocrisy is the bit that really gets me. Sure, be a debater, but don't be a hypocrite about it.
Can you just go into that a bit more, Peter? I'm not a dumb man, but I'm not sure what you mean about hypocrisy. So can you give me an example?
For example,
make one up, mate.
I'll make an example, and it will be relevant, but it'll be made up. They constantly go crook at flat earthers for making up evidences and or proofs, you know, by just by the way that they deliver it. On that premise, if you're going to go crook at someone for making up evidence, you can't make up evidence either.
Yeah, I know who it is.
Okay, so you can't go out stating facts that aren't facts.
You can't make opinion fact.
Well, there's that too. There's other channels that will go out of their way and take their opinion and sell it as the narrative. They will absolutely sell their opinion as a narrative where, once again, it's only their opinion. And by doing that, they're no better than a flat earther, because if you want to look at it from the most harmless way, you know, a flat earther is a religious group of individuals that have a belief. That's one of the reasons why you can't change their belief, because that's their belief. It's paramount and or equal to trying to turn around to a Christian and say what they believe is wrong. Well, it's not a nice thing for anyone to be told that what they believe in is wrong. So they're going to fight and argue about it. But if you present evidence...
Can I just say something, and then before you get away from what you just said too much, that I think another huge issue is that apparently talking about this openly is I can't talk, there's too much background noise. Who is that?
Aaron, could you mute?
Yeah, I fixed it. Yeah,
I couldn't concentrate on what I was saying. It's sad that we have to tiptoe around keeping debunkers accountable for mistakes and behaviour, that we are somehow the loyalty is so strong that apparently some channel owners are beyond being openly criticized and held accountable for things that are hypocritical. I think that's very toxic. I think it's very dysfunctional. And the fact that Peter and I are openly talking about this on a live stream, not the first time, means that we may be personally attacked for saying these things without even mentioning names, I think is really sad. I think that's all I wanted to say. You can go on now, Peter.
I had this discussion with AT2 Productions actually about why is it that we cannot criticize the criticizer?
Yeah.
And
because for a bunch of skeptics to behave that way is really, 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 let me say, just going to say the F word, fucked up.
Yeah. I've mentioned this man before, Michael Shermer. He's been running Skeptic magazine for 25 years, and he has debunked all sorts of stupid claims. And he says the hardest one to debunk is the belief system in something that is wrong.
Yeah. And that's it. Like I touched on before, it's that whole don't get me wrong, and don't misquote me here. You know, I was brought up as a good Christian boy. I went to church both Christmas and Easter. And that was a light attempt at humour there. You know, but if I was to turn around to my mother tomorrow and tell her that her whole religious belief system was flawed and, you know, paramount comes from a scriptures that have been rewritten by man so many times you don't even know how much of it is still the word of God, if the original texts were the word of God. My mother would crucify me. You know, she would absolutely put me back in my place. You know, so I just wouldn't go there with her. You know, I support her beliefs. I, you know, am respectful to what she believes in. You know, she's my mother. I'm going to do that. And I really believe that in some dark place, you know, there needs to be still that respect of individuals' belief systems, even though they are so wrong. The problem is that, and you can sit down and watch all of these, all of the debunking channels, and I'm not going to pick on anyone in particular, but, you know, like Dory said, not one channel is really immune from it. You know, even the most regarded individuals that are highly intelligent still, when they get to the heat of the argument, will still fall into that trap of losing their cool and attacking them personally, when realistically you should be attacking the argument itself, not the person.
Absolutely. It's not like you can say that it's easy to have a discussion with a flat earther, that it's easy not to get personal, because they are among the most frustrating individuals to talk to sometimes, and also they're quite mean and toxic as well a lot of the time. But it's about not doing it as the normal. It's about recognizing when you may have pushed it too far, and it's also about holding yourself to a higher standard. You mute
Yeah,
Aaron,
I'm here.
please. Yeah,
Sorry?
Can you mute your mic, please?
It's not me, is it?
Yeah, you get bringing up a lot of background noise. I don't know what it is.
You're playing with a fish tank or something.
I am playing with my fish tanks. I've got
Hey.
7 and I'm sitting in front of them. I'll just
We
relay. Sorry about that. Hey, I just wanted to say, Peter, you've just done a great, you know, you're obviously good with words and I appreciate it. But what you've basically referred forgive me for what percentages, but you're talking about a large percentage of flat earthers as having their belief in flat earth as equivalent to someone who believes in Jesus or God. And we know that that percentage is very small, and a far greater, well, we don't know, we're guessing that a far greater percentage of people are just on it because they're misguided, because they're in it for money, in it for a number of reasons. So you can't just say like trying to change a flat earther's mind is like trying to change someone's spiritual beliefs.
Yeah,
They're-
they both need to be approached differently depending on where they're coming from, and painting them all with the same brush as saying they're all just stupid idiots is not going to work. And also, I might add that if someone is a true believer and they've fallen into it because perhaps they haven't been blessed with an intellect genetically, you have to remember that's not their fault. You're born with what you got, and the terms willfully ignorant and intellectually dishonest get thrown around a lot, but you can't apply it to all of them. Some of them will sound very dishonest and willfully ignorant, but it's not actually the case. It is their personal truth. It is what they believe in the moment. So calling them a liar isn't going to get you anywhere. And that's where it's really sad, because those are the ones that actually need help. So we're not talking about a
I don't think I did.
or...
I don't think I did that though.
No, you didn't, and you haven't. So
No.
I'm not. Please don't take me the wrong way.
Okay.
If
I'm just talking generally. I'm not aiming it at anyone specific.
And that's it. Just that sheer point right there, that you can take what I'm trying to explain the wrong way, is a perfect example of what goes on so often in this field of information, is that people can misunderstand what another person is trying to put over so easily. It's easy to do it through text. We all know that. And even with someone speaking at this level, you can still just as easily misunderstand what the information they're trying to put across. Look, I sat down
I understand exactly what you're saying, but I'm not sure why you're saying it or what it's aimed at. I'm normally talking about the people that we see on the internet, the people who put themselves out there. They are, as far as I'm concerned, they are not so much fair game, but they're certainly opening themselves to criticism. And there's no reason that we should be abusing them or anything. And certainly people like Arwen is from what I can see, is someone who suffers anxiety greatly and very low self-esteem, and that we shouldn't bait him or tease him or do whatever to set him off. But there's like Flat Earth of Ozzie Jesus. I mean, there's obviously a lot of mentally ill people or people with a lot of issues around this, and I agree that each one might have to be dealt with individually. But look, I don't know what I'm saying. Sorry.
Well, we'll just use Flat Earth Aussie Jesus, just because he's a very good example of where I'm trying to come from. I can put my hand up and honestly say that I'm one of very few that have sat down and had I think it worked out to about a 2.5 hour conversation to him, not about Flat Earth or any other conspiracies. He had car problems. I tried to help him, as in the way of Australia. You help a mate out, and a mate can be someone that lives next door, or someone you don't even know. You see someone on the side of the road, you pull over and lend a hand when you can. And I offered a bit of advice and stuff. He's not a dumb man. He knows his limits, but if you keep him away from the discussion of the conspiracy factors, he just seems like your next door neighbor. However, in saying that, there are others out there, like Arwen. Now, I also had quite a long discussion with Arwen on Jose's channel. I went out of my way to try and keep myself civil all the way through that conversation. And I'm now famous because I've been put on his channel, over the whole conversation. He didn't really edit out that much. Obviously, he edited out enough just to keep himself safe from copyright and all that type of stuff. But I believe Arwen, he believes in conspiracies, and that's fine. But the people like your Oakleys that he seems to associate with, it opens him up to a position where he's easily led astray by these individuals that he respects. But then you watch him when he goes onto those channels, and they treat him like dirt.
Yeah. I mentioned that the other day.
Yeah. And if you have a normal conversation with him, once again, even though he doesn't necessarily agree with what you're saying, he's prepared to listen. And I've got a lot of respect for him for that. He doesn't.
That does happen. I had a very long chat with Ali B, and we had a great talk.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no problem going and having a beer with Ali B, so long as you can stay away from the flat Earth and other conspiracy. He's really all right, or he can be all right.
Yeah.
And the thing about that conversation was that there was no one else listening, so he was out of the limelight. I'm wondering if it's live that he changes and puts his show on. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. But I just think that that's something that we need to start looking at rather than attacking them in such a way that berates them and belittles them. Try to see things from their point of view in such a manner of why they think the way they do, so that you can maybe help them understand the factual side of things. That we're not here to berate them. We're not here to argue with them. It's that we're arguing with the statement that they have made rather than their belief system.
Oh, you're talking about re-education.
Yeah, in a nice and gentle way.
Yeah, indeedly doodly. But the thing is, as you said, you've got certain ones that are susceptible to the conspiracy, and that in itself is actually a psychological problem. It's the fact that you believe things you are told, whether they are factual or not.
I did a conversation like that with Pete Shea, and that went nowhere. That didn't work.
Yeah, no, it won't with him either.
Yeah, and
I don't think you can expect that it's going to work much better, but what it's going to change is the people who are sitting on the fence. Because just imagine you coming along and you're sitting on the fence. You go watch a flat Earth video, and then you go watch a flat Earth debunking video, and you happen to come across a flat Earth debunking video that's berating a flat earther. And basically you're going to step back and go, well, I'm not going to listen to either side of it. And then who knows what side they go to then, because both sides are looking ridiculous at that point. How is that helpful to anyone who's confused about the situation? And as for the ones that are getting berated and belittled, sometimes it's only human to react that way because of the way they're behaving, but it's not doing anything except Aaron. Mute. It's not doing anything except making them dig their heels in more and making them want to fight the fight harder. It's just, that's why it keeps going around and around in circles, and it's getting more like us versus them, and it's getting very, very toxic and very dysfunctional, and it's both sides are acting like it's a pack mentality on both sides. All everyone wants to do is attack, and what's it achieving? Nobody's changing their mind.
Yeah, but to change someone's mind, that person must be open to that thought.
Yeah, but
if we're not going to change people's mind, let's not change people's mind in a healthy way instead of being toxic people who are yelling at each other all the time. Since when is that good for anybody on a personal level? It's not good for a flat earther to be sitting there screaming at a globe head. It's not healthy for a globe head to be sitting there screaming at a flat earther. I guess it's more of a female point of view. I don't know why people want to get so bitter about it. I don't know where this hatred's come from. I don't know why we have to hate each other. I'm just there going, it's just the shape of the globe. It's not like we're talking to anti-vaxxers. Like, geez, if you want to get mad at someone, go abuse an anti-vaxxer.
My favourite comment of the whole situation is, realistically, no matter what they believe, they're still going to die. They're still going to be buried in a coffin, and their left leg is not going to fall off. So does it really make a difference? You know, what they believe is the only time that I've got a real problem with it is, and I will use the Riley factor here, where he wanted to get the teachings of the flat earth into schools. Now, that is just to the point of being ridiculous. That's not right, and it was never going to happen. You know, no matter what wonderful wordsmith he became overnight, no matter what he wrote, it just wasn't going to happen. You know, the man had enough problems writing his thesis that was so inaccurately written. He didn't even follow the guidelines of the school that he was at. So these individuals have a problem with authority. They have a problem with following general rules and or regulations. And this is where it all comes down to. You've got the head leaders of this, you know, organization that some have likened to that of a cult. And then you've got these other individuals that want to feel special, that want to follow because, well, all of a sudden they've been given information that no one else knows. So that makes them feel special. And a lot of the ones that just believe it outright without the anger or the hatred or anything like that, you know, the ones that answer because of reasons, because that's what the Bible says, you know, they're the ones that have been led astray. They're the ones that, although they want to come in and talk about it, they don't know any better.
Give in to the hate. Hate leads to anger. Anger leads to the dark side.
The thought of
Leah mentioned about, you know, why does it happen and why do we do it, and it's just flat and ball. It's all about entertainment, Leah.
Yeah.
That's how it started. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, and I know, and people need to own that instead of pretending like they're making a difference.
They're
fighting a good fight, that they're fighting some cause. That's not what's going on here.
You look at Simon Dan. You just look at Simon Dan's videos, right? And we'll do this as fairly as I possibly can. Simon Dan has got shitloads of subs for one reason, because that's entertainment. The way he does it, it's intellectual, it's honest, and it's entertainment. The Creaky Blinder, he pulls the piss out of people, but he does it in such a way that's entertainment, and he makes it fun. Generally speaking, he doesn't go down that whole route of necessarily berating the individual, although he still gets there. But, you know, that's the entertainment factor. And then you've got the others that are just on the coattails of, let's turn this into a dumpster fire just because it gets views.
The thought of Riley becoming a wordsmith is just alien to me. I just can't imagine that. It wouldn't be Riley, would it, if he could speak English?
I don't think Riley can speak English, can he?
That's what I'm saying. It wouldn't be Riley if he became a wordsmith.
No.
Hello?
Yeah, bit low, Rig.
Hello?
You're going to use a microphone, Rig.
Oh, well.
Yeah, you need to upgrade your tin can.
No.
Or is it your strings a bit slack?
I haven't got my cam up, have I? I can't see it.
No, you haven't. You just were a little bit quiet. That's all.
How you doing, Rig? It's been a while. You all right?
Yeah, mate, I'm good. How about yourself?
Yeah, pretty good. Thanks.
Where you been hiding anyway, mate?
I was away a couple of weeks ago. I went on a cruise, so that might be some of it.
All right. How
I'm
was
out of
that?
here, guys. Sorry to interrupt. I'm out of here. Got to go cook
All right.
some dinner. So
All
nice
right.
to chat, and
Hope to talk soon,
yeah, let's
Aaron.
do it again.
See
Yeah,
ya.
for
Aaron.
sure.
Yeah,
See you.
See you later.
Shane.
later on, there's the actual Aussie's Perspective show at about 9 o'clock. If you're able to drop in.
How do you guys do it? It's been going like since Yosei's
I've
at
slept.
midnight, hasn't it?
I slept last night.
All right. Catch you all later. See ya.
Later.
See ya.
Yeah.
We squeeze in a few hours here and there.
Yeah, he doesn't understand our timelines are askewed.
No, I think I'm on American time at the moment, to tell you the truth.
I'm on Terry time.
Oh well, that's all over the place, like a mad woman's custard.
Yeah. But as I was making my point, and then Leah spoke up, she basically took the words right out of my mouth, because I had said that they're not open to the change that you need, and then she put down that the followers are the ones that are probably the harder ones to get through to, because they're not willing to open up to interpretation.
Well, I will say this, as horrible as this is, and I probably shouldn't say this live. The Flat Earth Clown Show is the absolutely funniest thing, because 9 times out of 10, they don't even have to put in words or anything. They just show the idiocracy of the whole flat Earth community by themselves, by their
Oh yeah,
own
he
words.
just released that one from Jose's channel.
Yep. You know, they do such a wonderful job of exposing the fallacies within. You know, still to this day, not one. And yeah, look, I will say Super Rats has tried. He's tried. He's very trying. But not one of them has released a model that even comes close to being functional. You know, and you know the Riley factor, where he turns around and states, you know, this is the scientific method. I'll show you all of these documents that agrees with me. But the thing is he edits them out quite nicely, so nothing in the things that he shows disagrees with him. And then he promptly ignores any other documents that turn around and say something as simple as, there are as many scientific methods as there are scientists in the world. There is no strict scientific method. You know, if it performs the experiment in a controlled environment, and
that's
you
the
come
scientific method,
and you come up with a result that equates to what your hypothesis was going to say, well, that's a scientific method. You know, when he's tried to show his buoyancy and density, well, with the egg experiment, well, realistically, yeah, he was doing a scientific experiment, but it wasn't what he was trying to show.
But there was no method to it.
Well, there was a method, but all he was showing is salt water. An egg will float in salt water, and if that was his hypothesis, well,
it was correct.
He carried out the experiment in a way that actually works for that.
But that was not his hypothesis.
And you know, every single thing, even that thing that he did last night, showing he was on the computer simulation showing how air and molecules would react with the Earth. Now, he kept trying to justify his means by turning around and, he'd show, well, if gravity exists, this is what would happen. But we know gravity doesn't exist, so he turned gravity off. And then all the molecules of gas around this Earth was floating away from this planet, this planetoid that he had.
Escaped.
They escaped. But when he turned gravity back on, they all came back and they all hung around. So, he kept saying, but gravity doesn't exist. It's not a force. It's not, and the thing is he was actually using, on top of using CGI, which I found quite ironic because he's the king of turning it around and going, well, that's CGI, it's not real.
Mm.
But he's allowed to use CGI. And this is what I was getting on about the whole hypocrisy of the whole scenario. The man says you can't use NASA stuff. The man says you can't use CGI or anything that he claims it's CGI. However, he's allowed to. And then when he put in all the adjustments so that it would be somewhat showing how the Earth would work with gas being attracted to the mass of the planet, all of a sudden it worked properly. So I really believe that he goes out of his way to, I'll use the word fudge the answers just to suit himself. Researching. Gatekeeper. Am I getting called a gatekeeper again?
Are you the gatekeeper?
I told him I'm the key master. Gozer the Traveller.
Gozer the Destroyer.
Shout out to Multi Tom Tom in chat too.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Shout out to Multi Tom Tom.
Shout out to Moldy.
Why does he keep coming back to us?
Oh.
That's what I want to know.
He only watches.
Attention.
Oh no, he's not a bad person.
What?
There's nothing.
He did muck up the other night, but he's been behaved since then.
What did he do the other night?
He spammed an emoji a couple of times. That's about all. Didn't say anything.
No, that's not too bad.
Hey,
it wasn't too bad.
Do you go crooked they and them for that?
Yeah.
He went crooked everyone for that.
Bacon spam's fine. It's all good.
Yeah. So have we got any ideas what we're going to do tonight, Terry?
I ended up watching a couple of videos that I was saving for tonight too, but we can still watch them again. They're in homework.
Does that mean I've got to do homework?
If you missed them.
I've been keeping an eye on things. It's all right. I might be playing,
but if we can find anything on the same theme as not the New Zealand flat earther one, I just put that down there in case people hadn't seen that one yet.
Yeah.
Above that, we got why do prime numbers make these spirals? That was interesting. That.
Yeah, that was good. I watched you do that.
What else have we had? Not sure if I've seen that. It's got the tick mark on it. I have to check me
Well, there's a few that came out today that we might be able to watch. A perspective
when every possible flat earth debate with a word salad. That go for? Oh, that only goes for 4 minutes. That's not too bad. You put that one in. Lately. Seen that one. Longitude and latitude made easy. We watched something to do with latitude and longitude one time. John put that up. A couple of things for that. Back. Wade's Underworld. Did I do that?
I think we watched the Wade's Underworld thing.
1 minute debunk. Done that one. I gotta check me watch later list in YouTube to see if I've.
Well,
No, I wouldn't mind going down the theme tonight of that one for a bit of a change. That one to do with why do prime numbers make these spirals.
Yep.
So if you can understand the theme of what that type of YouTube type content would be.
So if you want to do that, look, we could do some Fibonacci stuff as well.
Yeah, I was just about to say, do you want to go into the whole magic numbers and stuff like that as well, or?
Yeah, I love Fibonacci. It's way cool.
Yeah,
it's the only time I'm interested in numbers.
And it's not. And
it's Leah and the Fibonacci sequence.
And it's just been
you can do that.
And it's just been an unbiased view of it, not to say certain number systems, numerology, or whatever. We're going to go down into
we'll get the scientific ones, not the numerology stuff.
No.
Unless we want to have a giggle, I guess.
You guys know that the number 3 causes a Fibonacci.
I'll leave it for the show later.
Are you denying pi?
No, you've got to cite. you got to. I want a citation.
Okay, you start a circle with a referencing diameter equivalent to 3.
You can't.
And start turning and watch what happens. You get a snail pattern.
Yeah, you get a spiral.
Yeah.
When you guys were all talking about it earlier, I'm like sitting in the side chat. I'd put it on audio only, and I was just listening to it. And I'm there listening to Jared talk about it, and I'm thinking, well, why don't you go back to basic maths and actually explain to him how they actually derive pi and work backwards from the circumference back to the so do the old like we would have all done in primary school or high school. You get a coin or a circular device and you measure the outside of the circumference. Then you measure across the center of that circle, divide that by 2, and then do that whole work out how close you are to your measurements to work out how close it is to pi. Am I making sense to people, or am I just?
No, you lost me there.
So we all know how.
Yeah, but you're saying pi, but I thought you said we're not using the word. We're not using pi.
So without using the number pi, you work out what pi is by working backwards. So by using the numbers, e.g., measuring the outside diameter of the circle, and then instead of, because that's what you normally use pi to work out, then you use your diameter, and then you work out the ratio between the diameter and the circumference, and that will actually give you pi as a number. But so you're working the mathematical equation backwards.
Yeah, I see what you mean there.
So by doing that, and you do it, say, 10 times, so that you can actually do it, so you can work out a mean or an average.
But isn't that the whole point of pi? So you don't have to measure the circumference of the circle in the first place?
Yes, but this is my whole thing, though. That would have been the best way to explain to him that the number pi was never, ever, ever accurate, because you can be more accurate by just measuring a fistful of cylindrical things at home.
I am so fucking stupid sometimes. It's not funny. I'm sitting here getting angry because half the time you can't hear what I'm saying. Only to work out that, yay, my headset wasn't turned on, so that's the reason why you couldn't hear what I was saying.
Oh, did we get a Dinky Die Dum Dum story?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Dory, for not listening when I couldn't hear you.
I can't believe I've done that. Oh my god.
Okay, now it's time to rant.
How long were you muted for, and how much did you say? That's where we find out how silly it was.
I can't remember a lot of it, so it mustn't have been that interesting. But I was having a good old rant and kept saying, "Oh, I'm sorry," because I was talking over people, and I just realised that you can't hear me because I haven't turned the headset on. And
I'll let you
oh
in
my
on a
God.
secret, Dory. I'll let you in on a secret. When you do that, you don't say anything. You just pretend it never happened and no one knows.
Otherwise, you look like Terry does all the time.
Well, because you're a goldfish, you'll forget about it in 5 seconds anyway.
Oh.
What's that about me?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was
so
doing something before that.
There's a few good videos out at the moment that we might want to watch, Terry.
I have a suggestion too, by the way. I think everyone should send Peter some hugs because his back's been really sore the last few days, but he's tough and he doesn't like to admit it.
Stop telling people my weakness.
Peter?
Just send him some love.
I'm fine.
Peter? Peter?
Yes?
You know how I feel about you, mate.
That sounds weird.
We spoke about this demonic. You've got
that just went really weird.
You know, you can't go down that.
You're not having my codeine though, Peter. That's from my back.
Oh,
You can get your own codeine.
I've got tramadol for later on tonight. I'm all good.
Oh, okay. I'll be heading down to Melbourne. It'll only take me 3 hours just to get down there. So
Oh, that reminds me. I need to take my oxycodone for the day. Hang on.
I had Lyrica earlier, and I've got some tramadol for tonight, so I might actually sleep tonight at some stage.
Yeah, that's why I have my Norseband patch on, so I don't have to take tramadol anymore. 15 microgram patch.
I got out in the garden again this morning and got quite a heap done, but yeah, probably shouldn't have got out quite so soon after the last lot.
So did you get many flowers and stuff in, Dory, or?
Oh, bugger, keep forgetting. Corn, zucchini, squash, some beans, a rose, and some flowers.
So
beans! I love beans.
I did the good daddy thing. Well, you know how the local Australian Woolworths did that whole seeds of the week and all that type of put with
I
you.
saw the ads for that, but the closest Woolworths that I live near is Moama, Echuca.
Yeah.
And we don't get down there that often. If we do go down there, it's Aldi's that we go to because they've got cheaper stuff.
Yeah, so well, I've been collecting all those seeds for the kiddies, and we're meant to be planting them soon.
Yeah, just look up what you've got. Make sure that you plant them at the right time of the year, because somebody was saying on the Kmart Facebook hack site that a lot of them are for different times of the year. They won't all grow now if you plant them now.
Yeah, well, like most of the ones we got were things like onions, and there was some carrots. So your rooty vegetables are normally towards the end of the season, like around winter and stuff like that. But a lot of the stuff that we've got are all year round stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of flowers.
I didn't get many flowers coming up this year. Where I've got them, it's actually too hot and they're drying out too quick. I've got to change that. I've got to rearrange my garden again.
Oh, it's almost like the climate changed on you or something.
Oh, God, yeah. What do we get? Over nearly a month now, 40 degrees.
Yeah, well,
No more thunderstorms, because I used to remember laying in bed hearing the thunderstorms rolling over, and we don't get those now.
yeah, it's not as wet as it used to be, is it?
No.
Yeah, and here's something that's really trippy. Okay, tomorrow in Adelaide it's going to be 36 degrees. Guess what the temperature's going to be? Guess what the temperature's going to be on Friday?
28 here. 38 here tomorrow. 28 Friday.
Yeah, we get
10-degree
36
drop.
tomorrow, and we get 18 on Friday.
Yeah, that's a bigger drop than what we get.
And
in one day.
People say climate change isn't happening. That this is a perfect example. October, the mean temperature is supposed to be 28 degrees.
Oh, well, funny you say that, because we had 28 today. Tomorrow, we got 29 today. 32 is meant to be tomorrow. Then Friday's 22. And then Saturday, it's meant to drop down to a balmy 14 degrees. And then the following week, it's meant to go back up again. So,
yeah, that's not right.
Well,
that's not October.
I was going to say, this time of year in Melbourne, it's meant to be raining for 15 minutes and then snowing and hail, followed by afternoon extreme heat, so that it gets really humid.
And then it rains again.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I lived in Melbourne for 6 years, and that's how I remember the springtime, was that it was rainy and wet, and then hot and humid, and then the clouds would come back in and then piss down with rain. But yeah, it doesn't happen as often anymore, does it, Peter?
No, not really.
Yeah, Melbourne, 4 seasons in one day.
Got a bob from the last 24 hours.
You haven't?
No, I have. I'm just.
Yeah, there's a bob.
I'm just dragging out a couple. There's a Where's Wally. These are all the recent stuff.
Yeah, there's been 2 of those Flat Earth clown shows that have come out.
How long do they run for?
They normally. Well, I'm looking at one that goes for 8 minutes at the moment, and that's. I'll drop it in the.
Yeah, I've got a list going. I've got underneath.
I'll stick it in homework.
Yeah, homework. I've got that prime numbers one, which we're.
That one
work
that
out what to Google. I have to Google that and see if I can find any more to do with that.
That one you've got in there that Where's Wally does, that's really good. I like that one.
Real engineering. Can we create artificial gravity? Bob the Science Guy and a Where's Wally. And you've got that one. Okay. Keep going. See what else we can find. You can either check your own notifications or you can just Google stuff in the lines of the theme of what's already there by just copy and pasting the title, and then what you get in the search, you might be able to find something to match.
Well, you just got to wait.
I'm saying for other people that don't have the same notifications that we do.
Isaac should be dropping a new video very shortly.
Would have already dropped if he was doing one.
Yeah.
They normally happen about 3:30 my time, so 4 o'clock your time.
It depends. Some nights he releases them late. I think he's doing a. He might have a show tonight, so he might drop one.
Fermi Lab. I don't know what Fermi Lab are like. I haven't done one of them before. Science Technology.
Fermi Lab? Fermi Lab are brilliant.
This one's How Far is the Edge of the Universe? It goes for 16
Well, I know that video. And guess what? It's not 13.8 billion years away.
We might have to find a better video then.
What, did I ruin the surprise?
Yeah. You ruined it now, that one.
Well, I'll really test your brain here, Terry. Okay, so if it took 13.8 billion years for a point of light to get to us, and it's traveling away at the speed of light, so over that 13.8 billion years, don't you think it would have gone 13.8 billion light years away during that time it traveled to get here?
That'd be
Meaning
further
that it
away.
then took, yeah, meaning that it actually took longer to get here than 13.8 billion years.
Especially if we're moving away from the source of light as well.
Exactly. So they estimate the
But
the
you're
width of
ruining
the universe.
no, see, we could have talked about that when we watched it. Oh, look, I'm going to put it in homework now, just for that.
That's okay. I don't mind. But I gave you something to think about. But you know the flurfers will go, oh, it's fake, it's CGI. Yeah, he uses CGI because we can't get pictures from 13.8 billion light years away.
I'll see if I can find another one. These are all in my notifications, so I'm only going back after the last 24 hours or so. Casual Spaceman premiered now. Papa's got a brand new suit. I haven't seen that yet. Suppose we should watch that for him.
That's on the new astronaut suits.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's correct.
Yeah, okay. I better watch that for him so he doesn't complain. How many have I got so far? We've got a half a dozen. That's nearly it.
Yeah. The only thing
Unless you can find a number thing.
I'm looking at number things right now, but I'm trying to find a short one.
Yeah. Also check the channel owner. Make sure it's not Russian vids or 33 UC.
Yeah.
Why not? They won't mind if I play their stuff.
Yeah, but we will.
4, 5, 6, 7. That's about 7. And if you get
Well,
one in,
half a
that'd make
dozen.
8.
Yeah, that'd be plenty. Probably won't even get through them all.
No, we just stick the little OK doodad thing underneath the ones we've seen. That way we can always pinch the ones we don't see next time.
Yeah.
12 minutes, is that too long, Terry?
No, 12's not too bad.
The 12-minute ones are good for that hour or so into the show.
Well, it's a little bit. It's just a little bit.
I've got to find out if I can do Curiosity Show.
The secret behind numbers 369 Tesla code is finally revealed. And this one hasn't got music, so.
Oh, the flurfers would like that. They love Tesla.
It's probably why I wouldn't put it in. Magic numbers counting from 1 to 10 with magical number. Oh, no, we won't do that.
Counting to 10?
With magic numbers.
It doesn't matter if it's more for high school or primary school, because the flurfers will love that.
I'll have to have a look and see if
you'd have to see if there's anything relevant in there for the flurfers that they misunderstand with numbers. Oh, that per mile squared mile thing.
Oh, jeepers.
I've been trying to find I know people have addressed it, but it might be hard to find an actual video to do with it if somebody's addressed it in the general sense.
No, can't do that. Sorry, Terry.
Okay, can't do that. There you go. I'm going down to a day ago now. There you go.
Did we get something off Fibonacci?
Have you?
I can't spell letters that big.
Okay, I'll find something.
Oh, I found something about the Beatles about numbers. Can we do that?
What, the singing group Beatles?
Yeah. He said one's the loneliest number. Oh, maybe we should play this one for Riley. Math. Here's what you need to know. It only goes for 2 minutes 15.
Yeah, they're all right for snippets. I got Professor Phil Bell, but he's doing this one was chemistry limiting reagents example calculations. Yeah, no, I'd rather stick to physics and science.
Oh,
Are we going to stop the stream in a little while so we can all have dinner, or if people want to
yeah,
hang
I
out
think
here,
that
they can?
probably be wise.
Because we've been going for nearly 2 3/4 hours, and it's what time is it here? Nearly 6.
Yeah, Peter needs to go make his 2-minute noodles.
Oh, I
think Numpty Fuck Knuckles gone to sleep.
I was thinking about bloody pizza again tonight.
Are you going to keep Big Blue company?
Is Big Blue in here?
Yeah,
I can hang on for a while.
Yeah, I'm gonna just so I can leave the stream going. But I mean, not the stream, the Zoom.
Yeah, leave the Zoom. I'm not going anywhere. I've had my dinner and such. So
yeah, I'm just gonna I'm leaving the same Zoom going, and then just restream again at our 9 o'clock, which will be at about another
2.5 hours.
Close enough too.
Close enough to it. Close enough to 2.5 hours, yeah. But we'll be come back here anyway. We might start the stream earlier. If not, it doesn't matter.
I didn't even realise Blue was in here.
Yeah, he's probably fell asleep.
Oh,
All right,
it is-
guys,
it
out in the
is
side,
bedtime.
out in the side chat. So if you want to come back in a couple of hours, we'll be starting the normal Aussie Perspective show. Not an after show, or not a pre-show, not a after show, just the normal Aussie Perspective show. So we'll see you in a couple of hours, hopefully. Thank you.
See you soon,
Bye.
people.
Bye.
Bye.